Oh God. Oh my goodness. Are you guys still there? Yes, it's picked back up at 8:40. Oh, okay. I guess I guess give me a an okay, everybody. I hit the wrong button. I was trying to show you a scene. I need to. Okay, good. Yeah. Thank you, Greg. uh, technology. What? 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 This is crazy. This is the Makosi cam, the overhead. It's kind of, you can see it's kind of aimed for headstock in this general vicinity. I have one for it too. I was gonna go over here and show you get the stream starting. This is the forward cam. I think it's a 920, uh, Logitech 920, C920. This one we were on, and this Logitech Pro Stream. It's good to have if you're doing a bunch of USB cams to have them all be different names, and then OBS will recognize them, which is nice because they're cheap and they autofocus. They're not. They're kind of slow, but I mean, this ain't bad. That's not bad. This is HDMI, so it's a little quicker. It's a weird delay though. See the difference in the even uh that's the 920. You can see a difference even, I guess, because it's going through more processing. It's funny looking. I know everybody's been fighting camera woes and audio and stuff. I may have to plug these in to the USB halfway through. I don't think I charged them again last night. I was having a techie session trying to get my problems worked out. I need to pay attention to you guys. Mm. While we're here at, let me try something else too. Cool. Are you a camera pro? Not at all. I am. I am. If you could, polar opposite of camera pro. No, I just kept trying things and I was able to get this to happen. But great cam that you can't use. Oh man, yeah, it's crazy, man. A lot of great cameras don't have clean HDMI on the output. Um, it's a kind of tough to use some of them. Yeah, it still says 80 of you guys are in here. I won't say who. You guys are all super sweet and pretty low key. All right. I guess I guess this is content too. Show and tell John's camera station here. This craziness. This is like a 720 back here. It's kind of a mess. But if I go over there, this is the stainless table behind me with the pegboard. If I'm mixing finishes or doing something kind of caustic or messy, I'm gonna head back there. Hey, thank you, CG Guitar. I'll take it. Mmm, coffee. I've stayed up so late last night. Mmm. Alrighty. Yeah, the image on this one's kind of a little wild. I can improve it with light, like as far as like if you're trying to see what I'm doing. I'll move this back over there in a minute. I checked this out. It checked out good on the meter. Yeah, heck, you should be able to see that. Let's get ourselves going. Find ourselves a random ground point. Make sure I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm just gonna sit here and look pretty. Yeah, with this chatbot, I'm gonna have to go in and just cancel some stuff, man. That's what they seem to do to us, is cancel us. Let's cancel them, man. I don't think I'm even gonna worry about the output, because I'm just looking for DC. I'll go to where's a good spot? If I come in at this angle, I won't short out. Yeah. Let's go to 200K sensitivity. Yeah. Yeah, it's saying 662. Now this wiring is some shenanigans. I came up with it a long time ago. I call it stock to rock. Uh, I just figured it out on my own, and then I figured out over time with some research that it was a Dan Armstrong wiring, where he's using one of the redundant tone pots as a series blend. It's simple. It's you lift the grounds of these. Oh, you can see I'm a shielding maniac. Uh, but lift the grounds of these two outside pickups and run them to the middle of that redundant tone. And you're going to ground the opposite side so that when you're all the way up, it's stopped. And when you turn down, you're going to jump the ground of these and steal the ground and run it over to the positive of the middle. It's always grounded at the thing. You can see its ground wire is still left there. So as you dial it back, you get a humbucker in the first position and a humbucker in the fifth position, or back, front. That way you don't have to. Everybody reads the numbers different. Some people think of one as the neck pickup. I always think of it as the bridge pickup. It doesn't really matter. But yeah. But because that you're lifting the ground off of these on a potentiometer, you get everything in between. It's really great. So like, watch. I'm in the back now. As I start to, I mean, the resistance goes up crazy. I'm stealing the ground from these two pickups and running them to that guy, and then it finally levels out at what the pickups are in series. But yeah, it ends up at 11.8, and if I switch it all the way to neck, it's going to be 11.3. And then when it's all the way up, you basically the three middle positions will just be the middle pickup, because you've canceled the ground on these for now. But you don't always have to. You can start to blend it back in. Right there at the end, it makes contact. The audio tapers, so it's just kind of like whoop. The amount of level on an audio taper, just so that we hear it normal. It's just little bitty carbon filament. It just kind of goes from way up here to just down, which makes that one far lug on a potentiometer really handy. You can use it as a switch. I have a bunch of wirings I call like a uh, tone split. Basically, it's what Peavy did with the T60s. Some people hate it, but on like a one humbucker guitar, you can have uh, a bright, just one coil. I always select the. Oh, Ben, thank you, Craig. Yeah, this is quite a mess, ain't it? You can see everything. I appreciate it coming by, man. Excellent. It's still 8. It should go down to 7. Who knows? Let me get 10 more. I doubt it. Uh, yeah, Greg knows all about this stuff. This is this old hat for him, man. But where was I? Doesn't really matter. It's all a bunch of shenanigans. Man, thanks. Yeah, I was watching your stream, Mountain. It's awesome. Guys, this guy's got some cameras. Man, Mountain's got he just gives out voice commands, and he could change cameras. That's so cool. But that's so brilliant, because you can get work done. That's so awesome. All right, yeah. So I mean, it drops all the way down to because you've got uh, two pickups in parallel when it's like that. Let's go back to the bridge. Uh, and that's like the bridge in middle, which drops, cuts the resistance in half because they're both in parallel, uh, which is a lot of why the trying to play rock and roll in the parallel position, it never really has quite the effect you want because the resistance drops down to half because two pickups are arguing with one another. Streambot is your friend. Yes, sir. Man, you got quite an operation. It's really cool. Like, oh man, the little one on. Oh, I caught some of that. That was awesome. She's trying to brush off. She's like, oh, you're dirty. She's like brushing off the dust. It's like, oh, I'm dirty. Yeah. Mountain, do you play guitar? Mm. She's very offended by dirty. Yeah. Gosh, man, the wonder in our eyes when we're little. Uh, I still, I just can't see as good. I still pretty well impressed with everything. Said, wait, you do? Yeah, man, no wonder he's in the group. It has a common interest. That's awesome. And a crafter galore. Man, what a craftsman. Back to the nonsense here. Uh, yeah, when you have one, bridge pickup by itself, you're getting a more hardy resistance, more output, less impeded. And middle by itself is 5.8. Neck by itself is 5.7. Drops slightly. You can tell that guy it's got that little bit more because it's the bridge pickup. It always needs it because it's right close. It's so close to the bridge. It's doesn't have as wide a vibration. So nowhere near the volume or of course guts or bass. Mm. Yeah, this is a. You can look this wiring up on numerous websites, and you just go try to find the Dan Armstrong wiring series. I guess you could put series and Dan Armstrong, and this will come up in a couple places. I found that out. I thought I came up with this on my own, but it's most of this stuff is logical. How do you patent something like this? It's just wire here, wire there, wire here. You're no genius because you wired a couple wires a couple ways. It's a way to do it. Hmm. Got a Fender Hellcat, awesome, and no proper way to mic up. Yeah, I don't know what. I've got a Helix that I need to finally get integrated in the system so that whenever I do demonstrations of these wires, I can put in classic amp models and not have to worry with mics and sound bouncing around and stuff. Try to get my levels uh, kind of straightened out. But then I'll be able to go to just a just kind of an old blues breaker kind of tone, uh, which is good. It's more of a strong rhythm sound with a little dirt, and then I can play like a plexi and ramp it up with a boost or something, just so cover all the cover all the ground. But man, there's a bunch of uh, direct direct injection modeling units that would not very expensive, and you could just click, yay, I'm live. It's getting better all the time. All right, let's do some work. Let's get some done. We know our pick guard's working. Yeah, it's kind of funny. You wire that one potentiometer, the middle one over here, backwards of what it's supposed to work because it's doing something completely different than tone or volume. You ground the opposite side. That's what you would do on a left-hand guitar if you wanted it to turn the other way, but you always have to get, if you want it to react like a right-hand guitar, you have to get a left-handed pot. And you're like, what's a left-handed pot? Once again, it's the amount of carbon filament on the flatwork, or the where the swipes go inside the potentiometer. It has to, for us, it's like drops down really. Well, for them, it's got to be on the other side, and that way when they turn all the way up playing left-handed, it it drops down. It just works left-handed. It's opposite. I'm gonna go and heat up our buddy over here, the Heiko. I was running it way hotter in the past. I always keep my actual iron. They'll call this the heater unit inside or whatever, but I always keep it pointed up in a thing. That way, the heat's always going to the tip, and it keeps from making these handles get brittle and break. The I forgetting these things are kind of made to stay on all day because they're just made to always work. But that heat keeps going up the handle and makes them brittle and they break. So I do this, and I can have the temperature way lower because it's just always there. Let's see. Did I put up the? I think I put up the solder. No. I probably knocked it off on the floor if I'm not seeing it. I don't remember oh, it's in the bottom of the table. And it don't take much, man. It'll... Excellent. Let's play with our scenes a little bit more. Got you guys, I'll give you something to... I got like this Be Right Back. Or still got a camera shot. I think I got an opaque one too, like that. I'll give you guys something to watch for a minute. I gotta check something. Yeah, 5 viewers. That's more like it. Let me go and find this screen.
I was saying post a thing, so I should post the thing. So.
Let me make that bigger.
I was mentioning Keith chords, like a modified Keith chord in standard tuning, which is it's inviting tendonitis is what it is. Like anytime you play like a regular A,
we're just gonna
like
double up.
You're playing the whole major triad with just one finger. Like you got an A chord, and then
the whole thing is a matrix.
Then you throw on that D major triad in the middle of it. That's basically the voicing of the G tuning that Keith Richards plays. You know the.
I'll stop this one because it's showing the middle one on screen for you guys.
Paul was saying post a thing.
Be back in a second.
Post the thing. So. I was mentioning Keith chords, like a modified Keith chord in standard tuning, which is it's inviting tendonitis is what it is. Like anytime you play like a regular A with like you're playing the whole major triad with just one finger. Like you got an A chord, and then you throw on that D major triad in the middle of it. That's basically the voicing of the G tuning that Keith Richards plays. You know the strings around it are tuned down to make that open, that major, which is already at G, so they just drop the others to make it a G chord open. But if you can play a one finger major triad like that, and you bar, and then you can take your middle finger and make that same triad. Now I have a B major chord with two fingers, which leaves these open to, which is not easy. You kind of have to get your elbow almost in the cutaway to do it. But if you take Unchained, like and it's like down in, but it's to drop down to D, but move it up to E.
It's hilarious.
Well, there, there you have that standard tuning, so it sounds more Keithy anyway. It's because of that G is the middle strings are tuned to actually standard, and then the others are dropped down to make a G, an open G, but it sounds more standard in tension. So
Sound like a
I go
maniac.
up to the seventh fret and you get Keith playing Unchained.
Weird, my audio's vibrating through my headset.
Anyway, that's what I was talking about. It's hilarious sounding.
That's a Pine Telly, actually, with DiMarzio 36 anniversaries. Yeah, good. I don't have autoplay on. God, I hate autoplay so much. Uh, oh, that's a good video. I mean, I'll get that one ready and pause it. You can tell I post on Instagram a lot because it's upright. I'll leave that there and we'll get back to our business, what we're doing. Goodness. I need to get my screen straightened out so I can see what's going on. I get the mouse from that screen over monitor over to this monitor. Cool. 7. Got gained a couple. I need to pay attention to the chat. I'm sorry, you guys. uh, I'm not as good at multitasker as I think I am. Let's get you guys on a decent screen up here. See if I can get. Oh, I'm on the wrong. Oh, trying to get the cursor over here. Yeah. Excellent. I could just go like this so you guys can see me. I'll try to get this going. Oh wow, that video's still like in the way. Let me get rid of this. Yeah, cool. I hope this is informative. It sounds like I'm a maniac. uh, still working out bugs, man. Like, and uh, it's gonna be me anyway. Still, like it's always gonna be haphazard. USB is complicated. It's a bunch of stuff you have to assign. That's for sure. Like it's, uh, man, my tech buddy was showing me how when you have a bunch of USB devices, like you have to go into your sources, uh, like the on your on your monitor. If you'll go down and click the little speaker icon, but right click it, it will you'll see a menu of like inputs and sources and stuff like that. You can go to those and then hit the properties on those, and it'll give you a list of all the things that it's taking inputs from. And you're like, oh, well, I've got like 7 things it's trying to listen to. And you could see like that one camera would go rainbow on us, like a camera, like a TV station in the middle of the night that goes to boo, goes to dead air. Every now and then, one of those will just have a blip in them, and I think sometimes it'll reset inputs and stuff. All of a sudden, you're not on the right mic. I mean, I could see my mic is bouncing up and down on the VU meter of OBS, and I could definitely see that the desktop audio was making it to there and was not redlining. It may have been a little loud, I can't tell. I had recorded that video with just the phone microphone, which wasn't as loud as like when I use a lavalier mic or something like that. Interesting. Oh well, The delay, the delay's so backwards. Now I'm looking sideways. It takes a minute. Uh, have I still got the cursor over here? Yeah. All right. Lurk. Excellent. Appreciate it. Still got 7 guys in here. I'll try to be more informative here and less chaotic. Let's go to our everything. It says I have no stream activity. Of course, I can see I do. See the stream's working. You know, and I see the delay. Cool, man. Oh, all right. Now we need to get this guy back in his home. I'm gonna set this guy to the side, which the Makosi cam's actually giving us a little bit of a look at. I'm not gonna be able to set that neck up there if I have that pick guard in the way, though. I don't want to lay it down because the magnets start picking up screws. Let's put it on this paper plate over here. Ah, problem solved. Oh. Now, knowing this guy, I had done all this shielding. This makes a difference. Man, if you do in here, I measured this, and it was way deeper than uh, the jack was sticking out downward into there. So I know I'm not gonna short out downward whenever I plug in. Sometimes I always try to keep, I recommend anyway, keeping a switchcraft jack, just some kind of a good quality jack around, so that you can put something in the state that it's going to be in, and then check depths, and uh, you can even do it with this part unscrewed, and you can check your contacts and see if you're shorting out before you screw everything down. But I have to make holes back where we were. I'm just gonna go with the available light, because if I turn on this LED lamp, it just blasts everything. Should just point it over out of the way for now. Sometimes they drill from up down that way, and sometimes it's from up down that way. I'll just see. I didn't make a mental note. There's that hole. Apparently they went from up down, because that's... No, they went from up down into this. Which honestly, you have more room for the rotary tool to work. Man, sometimes when I'm really getting nitty gritty with shielding, like tellies and stuff, I'll actually take brass tubing. Might even have a piece over here. Like, I will clean and size brass tubing, and I'll over drill these a little bit to where those will go in there, and I'll solder the shielding to this, and then all the channels in between will be shielded. And that seems like too much, but there, when you let go, there's absolutely no added buzz, and it does not take anything away from the tone. It's just it's kind of nice. Cat says he's gonna be away for a little while. Lurk. Yeah, that was a while ago now. Excellent. Well, I got a few people in here. I need to try and be as informative as I can, or helpful. Like, I doubt this tube would fit in uh, the size it is now. Yeah, it actually does. So yeah, you could literally mark this and size it, and let me get a better look at it. You could literally if you wanted to even shield that channel that's drilled through there, you could put uh, brass tubing. I choose brass or copper because you can solder to it. It just makes a big difference. But a telly, you've got uh, the channel between here. Sometimes, depending on which routing or modern, sometimes there'll be a channel from the pickup here all the way over to there, and it's a pretty long thing. You also if it's cloth um, insulation, pull back cloth, pull back wire, you can wrap uh, a long skinny piece of copper tape and wrap it or twist it around it or whatever, and just make sure to ground that somewhere or have it touch ground, and that'll shield that run of positive wire. You don't need to you don't need to shield the ground because it is ground. But in some cases with these wirings, uh, either if you're switching the phase, now all of a sudden the ground is positive, and boy, here comes the noise. Uh, Soldering that brass tube into ground, yeah, that it does great. Uh, you just make sure to clean it first. And uh, I usually show people, I always use some kind of a tinning, a tinning uh, flux. You can use plumber's paste, which has a higher acidity, but it cleans as you use it. This is just the Oatly, or Oatly? It's not even an L, it's Oatly. Get it from Lowe's. You don't need anything fancy, you just need something. The rosin that's in flux that's in rosin core solder, it's good, but it's always getting burned up the moment you use it. So it can be problematic. I just assume have something I can dress parts, especially if you're going to go around and pre-tin, like like solder each wire before using it, because then the solder melts to the solder. You just have flawless solder joints, nowhere near as much heat because you're heating individual parts. A little bit of pain in the butt, but it just works better. Everything, it just takes what it takes. It takes the time it takes. Don't get in too much of a hurry and just test your joints and everything as you go. Yeah, you don't have to get. I mean, once you do it enough times, you don't have to get too crazy with it. But now that I made those holes, I just talking about this because get me talking. I'll keep saying you could do this, you could do that, you could shut up and work too. All right, we can put our jack back in place. I don't think we need that close a view. It's just gonna look like I'm Racer X flashing by the camera. The only problem with the drilling from up down is you have to use the hemostats to get a hold of this. I'm gonna use the bigger ones. I like these ones. These are super cool. The little curved ones. These are really good for when you're working uh, wiring around little micro switches and stuff because it sort of bends the thing out of the way. You can hold on to more than one wire at a time to get them soldered. Makes a huge difference. I'm gonna keep it over here because I'm gonna be soldering this back together to the actual body. But I can tell right off the bat I'm gonna need help getting these through that hole. I'll probably end up covering up my shot. Curve them accordingly. They are not going to go quietly. Plus, I was also jamming um, that brass tubing through there, which creates quite a interruption in the copper. Makes it a little more of a obstacle. I guess in a sense it cleans it out the size of the hull. I got the ground wire. Sometimes you have to completely start over to get the positive. There it goes. Now with that with that jack plugged in there, I can test and see how it's feeling. Also, I can see how when this plugs in and out, how it's hitting around the wires, and I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna need more play than that, so that I'm not. It's possible sometimes if you get the wire running across the positive prong, it'll just get in the way. It won't it won't plug in right. Simply won't plug in right. I'm gonna bend that over behind. Now I know it's not gonna bother it. But I can tell from where the screws are that the end is away from the copper that's inside here. So I know it's not all the way against it shorting out. I'm actually moving weight. This side you don't have to worry about. It's like a completely the other end. But I can tell it's that far away from shorting out. So I don't even need to put uh, any sort of masking tape or anything insulating, because I'm good to go. And I always fold a little bit of the tape up so that it grounds that set of shielding to this via the jack that's screwed down tight. So it'll ground that shielding tape just by touching this. That's why you see everybody folding it over the top so it touches as many places as possible. Just gotta watch out that you're not uh, going too crazy. I always keep a cup. I always keep a cup with all my usual tools. Like this is my 3-corner file that I use for dressing frets, nut files, and everybody's like, "Oh, I keep those in a special holder so that I don't dull." It's like, all you have to do is put slots in a Leo Kwan badass bridge, and that's harder on them than being in a cup together. It's just, oh yeah. I always try to grind those slots in those base bridges before. Amtech Flux, awesome. I'll check it out. I've never got any. I bet it's nice. I'm an old school like 60/40. I'm like, I'll just not put the solder in my mouth and not you know touch my eyes and my mouth a lot while I'm using it. Mean to make you guys sick. Just pointing stuff out. So I know that's good to go. I can actually screw that down. Let me prove it. One less thing bouncing around. Once again with going through the copper tape, so I know I'm making conductivity on that side for sure. And while I'm there, I can I'll just use the same ones. I got a couple of meters over there. Let's get both these things in the shot. I've got obstacles over here. Got 6 people in here still. That's good. Better than nothing, right? All right. Of course, touch them together, and it zeroes out a dead short. So, of course, if I touch gold to gold, hello. They must have a protective coating on here. Let's touch something we could trust, the switchcraft jack. Of course, that shorts out. Wow. I touch the screw and it goes 0. That's just the crazy coating they have on these overseas parts. It's not kind of like anodized. It doesn't make contact. If I push really hard, it does. Okay, cool. But now I can test uh, the positive connection of this that's going to go to the pot, and the ground that's going to go to the back of the pot, and I get nothing. So I know I'm not shorting out in there. if I touch positive and the screw, like screw to screw zeroes out for sure because I have that, it's running along that copper. Even if this stuff doesn't make good contact, like I'm pushing really hard on both gold surfaces and it's not making. So remember that. Test your surfaces to see if they're conductive. That's screwed in really tight, and these are bolted down really tight. And I think the back, uh, I think the back of parts doesn't have the same kind of weird chemical finishing and polishing that the outside stuff has. Once again, it's just a theory. It's a hypothesis. I don't know that for a fact, but I know they're not making contact gold to gold, like like an anodized finish. Uh, yeah, even the pit guard. Speaking of, like the anodized finish on here, you can see how they taped off while anodizing this. Hey cat, you back? Awesome. Yeah, you guys, a close knit community, which is awesome. You can see they taped off before anodizing so that the pot screwed into bare aluminum on the back, and you can test from here across to anywhere that's gold. It is zero conductivity. You have to push hard enough to go through the coating to get to the metal to get conductivity. So whenever you're using shielded tape and you're trusting this to make contact with it, whenever it's folded over the edge like this stuff, uh, just remember these anodized finishes non-conductive is all get out. I'll always Dremel any place the copper is gonna fold over like that stuff right there. Uh, just make sure it's touching bare aluminum. I always just rough it up a little bit. Now I know that's not grounding out. I can put that back on there and well, I'm obviously gonna have to do it all the way. That's the good thing about switchcraft jacks is they actually hold on to the plug. We should be tested out for now. I know it's a lot of extra detail about simple things, but man, it's the understanding what all's going on. It just makes a huge difference because you're not having to. As long as you can test as many things the way you go, you don't have to have the terrible mystery of where did I go wrong. You know that certain thing tested out, certain thing tested out. You put the whole thing together without testing it, and then something fails. You're like, it's almost back to the drawing board. You have to start uh, retrograding and reverse engineer and test as you go. So you end up having to test backwards because you covered up wherever the problem is. And sometimes it'll be something silly. What was there with that green Les Paul I was wiring the other day, that other first long stream. There was this little wire where the switchcraft jack comes back all the way under the pickups back to the two terminals that then solder to the jack. There was this little bitty place where it had heat shrink on it and stuff, but there's one little opening between the vinyl insulation around all the wires and then the heat shrink. Hey, thanks, Cad. Happy to have you, man. There was one little gap that was touching. Uh, Whenever I got everything in and then had the jack in and then put the back only when the back plate because the back plate would push the wires down. That little gap would touch the positive terminal. It would short out, and so I thought, oh, it must be the copper around the jack. Oh, it must be this or that. No, it was just one tiny little place you couldn't even see unless you just kept pushing until you could get it to short out. And that's all it was, a little place. Stuff like that, I don't know. You can't test for it. That was close to the end. That was close to the end of that particular. Uh, I'm gonna get this lamp completely over here out of our way. I may leave it down here by by the headstock so I can show the angles with that Makosi camera. This guy here. That delay is weird. We're getting both of them. The HDMI, that's up there, that the greener looking one. The Makosi, it's going through it's HDMI, and then it goes to a capture card, which of course goes into USB. So there's a it's its movement is delayed quite a bit from the what is this? This is the C920 up here. Oh, this place, I have wires running everywhere. It's insane. I don't want to make you guys sick or anything, but the like this monitor has a USB hub in it that's got USB to USB-C, and it powers the camera up there. That's the C920 up there. And oh man, all that comes over here. That big cable's the cloth HDMI that's going to capture card. You can see it right down there next to that drill, or just past that drill. That's a capture card. It's kind of nice that it has a separate cable. It just keeps it more stable, so it's not moving the connection at the back of the PC. That that dongle uh, to the right of the red is this guy. For this, reminds me I probably better put on the charging cable so I don't go dead in a little while. I haven't seen how long these go before they go dead. I may be fine. The two red ones are like the whoa, try not to make you guys too sick. I'm not going too fast. Uh, this the mouse is plugged into the back of the keyboard. And you see I have the cable wound together, because normally you need enough mouse cable to go to the back of a PC or whatever, but it's going into the thing. But the two red ones over there was because it has a USB hub in the back of the keyboard too. But Asus, uh, this Asus has a USB hub in it, which is also powered, and that's what that little 720 camera up there with the LEDs on it. That's that bad shot going over to that table. That's those. It's plugged into the bottom of this monitor. Yeah, it's a matrix, man. But man, it's so handy being able to have all these shots, because uh, I could start my stream on this and just never touch it if I didn't want to. Like, just have the main stuff I'm trying to show. Is that a purple ant? Yes, man. Yeah, uh that's my favorite little Marshall clone. It's a 90s, early 90s, like valve state clone. Uh, it's a Stone CR16. Oh no, it can't be right. It's been a while since it's the best sounding amp I've ever heard in my life. Cheap. What are you? Stone SGA-15R, R for reverb, and it does have a reverb tank that sounds amazing. Little bitty thing, little bitty like reverb tank. Looks like this. It's got like a brown like cabinet paper, like you remember the old wood grain paper you'd put at drawer liner type stuff. It's got that around it. It sounds awesome. I'll get that going. I'll get that going one of these days. Get it mic'd up. Never seen an amp. Well, I recovered it. I recovered an actual Marshall Purple Levant. I had some of it, and I loved that amp, so I recovered it. I also have quarter-inch thick plexiglass over the back to make it closed, and in the quarter-inch I've got a closed-circuit quarter-inch jack. It's quarter-inch thick, but a quarter-inch jack through it. Uh, that when I plug a a speaker cable in, it'll interrupt the speaker and go out, and it's plugged into that Marshall below it, which is actually I got that thing for $60 at a pawn shop because it was wired wrong, and uh, it was fine. Somebody had just jacked with the wiring, so it's an English built Marshall. I think it came with the Marshall Artist amps or whatever. It was the companion cabinet to those. Yeah, English made Celestions. I love tens. I love the 410 cabs. I remembered a long time ago George Lynch was saying that he loved the sound of those Marshall 410s, and I was in love with them ever since. I had one of the, I don't know if you guys remember the whenever Marshall did the MOSFET 100. It was their not a, it wasn't an early solid state, but it was one of their solid states back in the early 80s. I had two of the sort of rust wicker, the sort of rusty wicker colored grill cloth on those. I had two of those 410s back then. I had those for a long time. It's similar to those cabs. Sound amazing. Love it. Hmm. SML reverb tank. That's cool. Awesome. Man, I played a reverb that there's this company I get stuff from in I think they're in Arizona, based in Arizona, CE Distribution. A lot of the pedal builders and amp guys get stuff from them because they just keep incredible stock. They ship really fast. Uh, but they had a reverb tank. It's their mod series. Uh, they have some mod pedals and mod components and stuff. Their reverb tank. It's a tube reverb. That thing sounds amazing. It's a rack mount unit. Uh, I don't know. It's a few $100 because of what all it is, but man, that's a good sounding reverb. For a spring, it sounds like a Lexicon reverb. The spring version of it. A real deal though. I mean, you hit it and it goes crazy. It's kind of cool. But man, it sounds gorgeous. It's well shielded and quiet. Pretty audiophile. It's nice. Uh, yeah, real reverb tanks are cool. They're definitely cool, man. I guess I'm not in too hurry to work on this. I'm having fun talking to you guys. Three pedals that have lexicon algorithms. Yeah, yeah. I remember I had um, that supernatural uh, reverb. What was it? That was the Digitech company. The extra one, Hardware. No, they had a couple different pedal companies, but anyway, it had lexicon algorithms in the normal sounding reverbs. Then it had a bunch of really crazy sounding reverbs. Like there was a shim reverb in there, but it was all the pitch detunes were just a little bit off and had some kind of weird howling tone on them. This is a crazy sounding pedal. Yeah, Polaris. That one definitely is a pretty cool sounding. Pretty cool sounding. It'll get some really cool modulation reverbs and tone like resonant tones in the reverb. That's a cool one, but no, it was a supernatural. They had the hardwired models or brand, and then there's one other that they did, and I think that's what the supernatural was. That's one that they did. Remember when Washington Pedal Company, the Andy used to work for? It was one of their custom pedals that they did through a good builder, which they always had solid stuff, really good, really well made stuff. I am going to clean these off a little bit. I ain't gonna cut enough, but just to get the scruddy bits off. I always keep the just enough to get the clunky bits off so I can strip these clean. Not too much. Just enough to get a good ground on the back of the pot. Gonna twist that now because I can. Get that out of the way and do this one too. Just enough to get Hold the jack. Did I miss it? Huh. Insulation was like stretched and all warped. While I have those in my hand, I'll grab that tinning flux. So I have to do the twist before because I know I'm going to do these a couple at a time. Get a little bit of that goop on there. And I had some solder on this already. It's a good idea because of the way this stuff boils and pops to cover up. I'll just get close to it. I don't have to unfold it. And this stuff will just, it'll just, it just flows. Any place it heats it up and melts it, it just goes around it uh, like a magnet. It just flows around it so fast. I always clean the tip. Uh, I keep steel wool. Try not to move too fast. I keep steel wool on wrapped around a ceramic magnet, and the magnet sticks to that cabinet scraper. Cabinet scraper's taped to the table, so at least it doesn't slide off the table when you're trying to clean. Uh, that I don't recommend that. That's what I do. We all have our own crazy methods of doing things. Uh, it's funny, extra bits of solder will fall off of that on the table, and because I use the tinning flux, I'll just grab those extra pieces of or blobs of solder and just reuse them because I have the flux paste, so yeah, it just flawlessly solders back together. All right, I do recall I I pushed the I pushed the sprays on up. I pushed the claw, the tremolo claw ground wire. I pushed it out of the way. I should go in this way because it doesn't have foil over it. It's just a long, skinny screwdriver, straight head. This thing's been ground so many times. It's a good pokey tool. Might be bigger than this hole. Just depends on how much of an angle they yeah, there it is. Took a couple tries. All right, and I'll push that. It helps if I put my tools up and then they're not trying to scratch things up. Keep these under the neck and they're fine. All right, let's go back here. Find our hole. Working in the dark. It's amazed you guys can see anything. The camera sees better than I do. It's got that amplifies that signal. Make that to where it don't touch the springs. I always put a little piece of masking tape. You can put foam. You can wrap athletic tape around the springs. You can do all kinds. I just put some masking tape on quick setups like this. Some people they like the reverb back there, but I don't know. It's sometimes problematic. Mm. What other video did I have? Oh yeah, cursor's over there. I'm gonna switch you guys to uh, this screen. You can see how long the delay is by how long it takes. Gets a little smaller. That's how long the delay is between uh, streaming on OBS and coming back and seeing it on Stream Manager. Where's my cursor? That's that one video. Let's go back. What's an interesting one? Don't even a minute. Here's a cool wiring. Oh, make it play.
Howdy all. This is Johnny Boy here. This is Terry Hartley's guitar. So
Yep.
probably
I see
tag
desktop audio.
But this is a wiring I do on humbuckers, four
Back in a minute.
conductor humbuckers, called Humbucker World Series, and basically all the combination. It uses a typical 5-way. You don't have to have some super switch or anything. It's you have the humbuckers on the outside, the normal first position and fifth position. And when you switch it, you start adding a coil. It's still in series, but it parallels one coil with the other, and it's series is it with the other. So they're all series. So that's why I call it Humbucker World Series. So you add a coil, humbucker, has that high, that mid because it's a focused humbucker. But then you get the complexity of adding one coil paralleled with one, series with the other. So it's technically series, but it drops the. And then it's just a coil from this pickup and a coil from this one in series, just one coil each. And this is a humbucker adding a coil to that, one coil paralleled in series. It doesn't go down and out, but pure humbucker sound, adding a coil, taking a coil away, adding a coil in the bridge, and then just the bridge. And I've recently been doing a thing that I call tone coil split. It's something that they used to do on the old T60s. You have an open lug on the tone control. It's not used, so you can ground the middle, and all of a sudden it becomes at 10 it's ground, at 9 it's off. So it's a switch basically. So when that's all the way up, humbucker all the way back, but the moment you go here, it goes to just the slug coil, and the third one's the same because it's grounding the same wire. But once you get to the fourth,
it's real flattering.
Place
real flattering shot there,
coil
isn't it?
and the screw coil parallel. Full hum canceling. These are in covers and it's super shielded, so even the bridge one by itself doesn't really make any noise.
Yeah.
So you can kind of preset up the guitar how you want. If you want to jump to single coils, you just have that all the way up. If you want to enjoy all the series sounds, you just have it down about 9 or 8. Keep going, and the tone control works normal. Split, not split, tone control.
That's that tone split I was talking about. You can use that with any humbucker if you want to split one. You can't use the tone control while it's split.
Pretty cool though.
But it's a neat option to have.
Handy thing to do. It's really simple to use. So it's the idea. Thanks, man.
Yeah, good. It's not on autoplay. I like that. Oh, I have another video up there in the corner. I'll just leave that screen going. If we need to come back to that, we will. All right, don't push stop streaming. I'm so glad the stream hung in there. Oh, cursor's on the wrong monitor. I can bring it over here. There's that Makosi cam. Yeah, now you have a headstock. You can see that from that angle. Hmm. I never did. I never did show that. But I don't even know. I can't get this one to aim that far up. I could turn you upside down, but that ain't worth the trouble. That's crazy. That's just being crazy. All right. Let me bring the cursor back over here so I can see what's going on. I guess that's the only problem with this is uh, I need to minimize these and split them up so that they always stay visible over here. I don't need to see the full size thing. I guess no matter what, whenever I make the video big enough for it to cover that whole thing, uh, it covers up everything over here. All I have to do is click on the individual. Where are you, Twitch? There you are. Oh, down to 5. Some people got bored with my nonsense, craziness. All love, man. Excellent. So, let me bring this cursor back over here so I'm not hunting for it. got our uh, got our claw back. We do not need the Makosi cam because we're not doing anything down there right now. Oh yeah. Got our claw ground. We got our jack ground and our positive. It goes to the. So that's all you need there. All this stuff tested out everywhere. It should be full connectivity. I'll get our other little buddy here. Yeah, you can see it in the camera. And I will switch it. It has a switch off and on switch. Just kind of touch them together and it zeroes out. So we know like copper to copper, 0, copper to jack. Oh yeah, that's right. I haven't soldered it in yet, so it can't make this wire isn't soldered there yet. I mean, naturally, if I touch the wire like I was gonna do that, I'm gonna get, yeah, it zeroes out. I still want to bring a piece of tape up here because this is gonna touch that. Oh, this is actually bare aluminum. It will ground here, but I like the screw to go through it. So I'm gonna put a strip. But yeah, I mean, I can go up on like above the edge here and then touch all the way above the cavity up here. Zeroes out. I mean, the conductive adhesive on this particular brand of something I get off of Amazon. You just buy your shilling tape off of Amazon. Do not go to Screw Mac for that. Cat made that perfect point with that. It's like, man, you paid 10 times too much. That's no lie. All right, let's get our testy buddy out the way. Oh, I'm seeing the delay. God, it's so weird how long it takes the shot to get to Twitch and then come back. Down to 4 viewers. I don't blame you. I'm not doing anything super heavy duty. Well, we have conductivity, and so we know this checks out, so now we can solder it together. Always want to protect protect the guitar from getting scratched. And if you have, your bridge pieces are here, will scratch a pick guard up like crazy. So it's better to have something between it and all that scratchiness. I have this tendency. I like the guitar when I'm soldering. I like the guitar to point facing me. I guess for one, it gets it closer. And put up our screwdriver. It gets it closer. And a little bit of this for the solder splashing business. Get our positive going. This is where it's a challenge for me if I don't have a LED light, but boy, it'll look like an overexposed uh, nightmare. Thank you, 4 viewers. trying to get my affiliate, which you guys are gonna hate me for because I'm definitely gonna put commercials on to encourage the average Joes to subscribe, man. Because I'm gonna keep doing pretty heavy instructional stuff. When I get into the fret stuff and the fret jobs, that's when it's gonna get real. I should add some solder to this. Come in. I'm soldering a soldered part to a soldered part, so I don't necessarily have to have flux on it. I'm gonna heat it up from this side and stick it from this side. Yeah, doesn't wiggle. Solid. Clean off the smoky stuff. Put that in this little holder. And I know I'm going to be doing 2 ground wires, the claw and the main one from the jack. Now here's that scenario I was talking about with hemostats. If you'll this is one I like the long ones for this. Whichever insulation is fatter than the other, I always put it farther out. But these long ones, they flex. You can hold on to a couple of ground. You can hold on to like 4 or 5 at one time. I recommend not twisting them together because at some point you're going to work on the guitar, and you have to undo the whole shooting match and uh, fling solder everywhere trying to separate those if you don't chop them off. The more you chop them off, you have less and less leads. I mean, you can replace them at some point, but it's just nicer if you do this. I've noticed a lot of boutique builders, they'll go around the back of a full size pot and they'll have 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 tiny little blobs of solder. Like Sir guitarist Tom Anderson, a lot of them they'll have individual. Each ground is ground to its own little place. Now there's ones that are always going to be there. Like they'll sometimes do the claw and the jack in the same spot or whatever, because you're going to undo those to get the pick guard away from the guitar while you're doing like a pickup change or something. That makes sense to put those together because you're gonna heat them up and remove them at the same time. I'm gonna turn the heat up a little bit on this. I'm gonna probably grab. I'm gonna grab some of these blobs of solder I got on the table over here because I need a little bit of solder to make connectivity. I'm gonna heat up my puddle a little bit. I'll set this on there. Let those those melt in until it gets all liquidy, and then it makes kind of a nice smooth joint. Wipe off the tip. That way it's ready to go next time. And you just unclip the hemostats, and that's good. So we have our positive is strong. Both those grounds are strong. Uh, there's been a lot of wirings where I've actually, especially when I'm doing builds, I'll take that uh, claw and I'll run it through and twist it in with the jack's ground, or I'll have the typical screw joint. Ah, yeah, this one actually does have a screw into the wood. It came with one, even though it was a screw going into the wood, but that's just them following what looks like a real thing. I mean, this is a really, Squiers are great, but they're it's because Fender uses shielding paint and everything, and they always have to have a screw to screw into that shielding paint. It was just screwed into wood, but that's because this uh, harness included this in the thing, and it just goes together. They just goes together, and it has this, so they have to do something with it because it's got that crimped on it because of that's how the harness was made. So they just screw it into the wood, even though it's not doing anything. I could use it again, but I'm going to make good contact with my tape up top. I am remembering that I want to add a piece. Nice, a nice skinny piece. Find an extra here. Yeah, that's a nice one. Get a little shiny off of that. I'm going to stick this over on the back over here. Make sure it comes up. Matter of fact, I'm going to start it right there so it doesn't overlap. You don't have anything to cut if you start with the screw hole. This is another thing I keep saying. If you'll push the shiny side towards you, uh, hold it against you, and sort of get a hold of the paper and stretch the against you. It won't curl up. It won't just curl up into a ball and stick to it. Once the stuff sticks to itself, it's almost useless. All right, start at the screw hole. Bend that over. Make good contact. And that conductive adhesive will do the work. Do the rest of the work. I could test it again, but I know it's going to work because this stuff always works. So now uh, I for sure have conduct off of all of this through this to this bare aluminum. Like it's also going to touch bare aluminum there because that's this part right here, but it's going to touch here and here. So it's going to get all that which was completely zeroed out, dead short. And someone was saying, why do you still have the strings on there? It was because I had already set this up and I had mentioned this wiring stuff to the guy after. He says, man, that sounds awesome. Will you do all that? And so I went back into the same guitar to do this stuff. But if you loosen the strings enough, you can you can fish you can fish the pickups right past the things, keeping them unhooked off of the pole pieces, and whammo bammo. It is a little tough with the ones that have the overhang. If they don't have that extra route, like if they have a an actual 50s strat route with no extra hole, you've got to take the neck off. I mean, it just hangs over the pick guard and the pickup's locked in there. You can't get them apart. But classic 21 just goes straight on. Still got 4 viewers, which I appreciate you guys. Well, I mean, I keep saying I definitely want to test before. Uh, let's do the clampy. Let's use the clampy one. Before I put the screws in the pick guard, oh man, it's a nightmare. That's a lot of screws. I could do it 2 or 3 just to hold it in place and try it out, but then I don't want to tighten and loosen the strings any more than I have to, because it's a fresh set of strings, you know. So we'll get our little our little buddy, the jack. I'll use the I'll use the jacket on it to push it in place, and then I'll loosen the sleeve off of it and set it to the side. Now, turn it to where it's open. Contacts are open. Yeah. Clamp. Clamp this to the ground lug. Hard to get a hold of. Got a good bite. And clamp this guy to the positive center. The center lug. And I'm going to go with 200K resistance, which is giving me, you guys can see, I can actually look off of the camera view. We know our pot's grounding out. We know we're not shorted out because we're getting the pickup. We're getting our 6.4. It's funny when you get it in the guitar and grounded, how that out. See, that's going down to 6.2. The whole thing touching will sometimes take that overall resistance down a touch. But now we know we go to the middle pickup, it's going to cut that resistance in half because these two are competing with one another. And it goes back up because it's just the middle and neck drops way down because they're competing with one another. And there's the 5.7 of the neck pickup. Then if I start robbing the ground off of these and running them to the positive of this one, because it's not selected right now, our resistance will go crazy. Woo! It just gets way up there, which is such an interesting sound, being able to use a pot to change your topology of your pickup wiring. Then when I finally go all the way down, I get full series between these two. That's why you see it double the resistance of that's just the neck pickup at 5.7. Then adding it to the middle pickup in series, it's twice as powerful. Twice the bass, twice the mids, less highs. Sounds more like a humbucker, because technically it is. It's a separated humbucker with rod magnets. But yeah, man. Hey, 7 viewers, welcome you guys. Hey, Dell, what's up? Good to see you. We're wiring on a strat. Then when I go from that series sound and I switch away from it, all of a sudden I get just the middle pickup, and then these two guys in series jumps up to almost 12K. Tone control doesn't really do anything to the resistance, but the bridge by itself, of course, it'll go back to that 6.3. But those two together, twice the resistance. Cool concept, using the pot. Yeah, it's. I thought I came up with it when I was, about 20 years ago. I was like sending plans to Carvin for their Bolt model and all that. I was like, I've got this amazing. Dan Armstrong had come up with it. It's just moving a couple wires around. For some reason, I felt like I was a genius when I was younger. I came up with moving a couple wires around. But yeah, you absolutely do this. Of course, it's gonna raise the noise of these pole pieces, become like lightning rods, because you're lifting the ground off of these two pickups to do it. So that's one reason you see my shielding around the pickup, and then I make sure to clean off the bottom of the magnets so that conductive adhesive will stick on the back of the magnets, and it won't make 100% conductivity, but it'll quiet these down. Ooh, it'll quiet them down a lot. Man, Nick, haha, my man. You guys should check out Necrocatic Games. His stream is a hoot. I love you, man. I'm so I'm so glad you finally made it. Yeah, here I am in all woo. Talking, we obviously talking strat wirings. This is one where I do series. I'm using the redundant tone control. Uh, you can see the resistance. I'm going back to just the bridge pickup at 6.3, and I'm lifting the ground off of these two pickups, and then running them over to the middle, which isn't selected. The positive of it isn't selected, so but it's grounded at all times. So yeah, this thing's got some neat inlays, man. It's a it's a Squier, but it's got binding and block inlays, gold hardware, pretty neat. It's a crazy how reasonable these things are too. Anyway, I lift the ground off of those and run them to the middle of this and use it like a variable switch. So you watch the resistance, it'll go crazy. It'll go real high until I finally completely uh, run those grounds to the positive of this one, then it goes to twice the resistance of one by itself because these are a humbucker. That's how your humbuckers work. Go back up and it goes to just the six whatever of the bridge, and in the neck it'll do the same thing. The resistance will go crazy until it finally runs it all the way over, and then you'll get twice the power of one by themselves. Like the neck by itself is 5.7, but with that middle added to it in series, it's 11.4. And it sounds that way. That much more bass, that much more mids. Yeah, it gives you tonal options. And remember, you're using a potentiometer to do that. So all see all that crazy resistance difference. You hear every little nuance of that change. You'll hear the hum, which is almost nothing because of the way I shield pickups. Uh, you'll hear the hum go away from like, see the knob, I'll go from like 10 to 9 and the hum will just disappear because of the way up the audio taper, the carbon filament on audio taper pots, your signal goes from here to like shoo, and then slowly goes down to nothing. So yeah, it's like a switch almost in the first couple numbers. uh, yeah, it's pretty neat. But yeah, the resistance will go crazy until it becomes a humbucker. But you can use all those. I will say, like, when you're back here, rock and roll players, to try and get the hum under control with a reverse wound middle pickup and reverse polarity, they'll end up playing in the second position. But I mean, look, the resistance goes down to 3.2. It's that much weaker. So it's not really an ideal rock and roll sound. It doesn't have that mid focus of one pickup. It's just kind of a mess. Uh, but you'll note, and it gets really bright, so you'll end up using the tone control to try and take out some of those brightness, which takes away even more of your output gain. Whereas if you did this it'll get that parallel tone almost, and the hum will go away, and it gets a little bit duller. So you go to about 8, which, I mean, look at the resistance, it's crazy. It's not that much louder. It's just it it plays with the resistance, but it gets you that same second position tone, but with a pickup and gain, and the highs drop down because you're starting to slowly become a humbucker. But it still sounds like that second position, and it'll do it over here too. It's the same thing. You'll go from just the neck humbucker, and you'll start adding that one in. The highs will go crazy down. They'll drop, and then the hum just disappears. Uh, and until you finally keep on going to a full humbucker. But you don't have to have a super bassy sound. You can have somewhere in between, like it would be the what I call the fourth position, or the neck plus middle, just paralleled, like just competing with one another to the same thing. Series, it's like if you've ever taken two 9-volt batteries and you clip them to themselves, and it goes from a 9-volt to an 18-volt battery. That's pretty much how series works. It's just twice as powerful. it'll it'll go dead pretty quick too, using batteries that way. But yeah, man, it goes from that's see, I'm in the fourth position. It's going from parallel to just the to just the middle pickup because of the way I'm robbing the grounds from these. That shuts them off. But when I'm selected, goes goes to series, jumps up to 11.4 and almost 12 back here. Yeah, 11.9. Excellent. Still got 7 people on. Appreciate you guys. Uh, have you been doing any playing, Nick? Good bass player. He is. You're gonna have to school me on how you make all these bells and whistles. I need to start making some stuff so I can have sounds on. I've got a Helix. I need to for demonstrations. I'm gonna use the Helix so I can get good clean, DI sounds with IRs and all that business. Even ukulele, awesome. uh, you stream so late, man. I've got to start going to bed at night. And I'll end up watching so late. Uh, Razor Shred will come on doing like his metal rocksmith streams. Oh, I get stuck on that. Arca Jazz, Ariel Cabrera, something like that. I think he's a Vancouver player. Jazz. He'll sometimes stream really late. I just love watching all you guys. It's awesome. Gotta sleep though, or I won't be able to do this stuff. I'll be even more of a scatterbrain than I am now. Ah, coolness. All right, wiring tests out. Screws go on, and stranger back up, you guys. Or tune it back up. I left the strings on. All right, you guys. Gonna do it so good. Like Necrocat at games, but not quite as good because he's awesome. You guys have got to check out Necrocat again. Oh my goodness. Such a blast. I literally have fun just lurking on your stream. I I enjoy watching everybody's stuff. It's kind of awesome. Put the sleeve back on this. Uh, Sleeve back on this so I can pull it out. Use a regular jack to test that out, and you can just clamp onto the leads. Put it in the drawer. These are probably back plate screws, but they're all the same, so it don't matter. I'll use the ones that were in front for the back plate. Yeah, I was telling these guys to always test all your stuff intermittently throughout a project so that you're not if you wait till the end and something doesn't check out, you don't know where to test. You just end up my reverse engineering to find where something's failing. if you if you I mean, some stuff you just know from doing it that it's a clean solder joint or it's a clean build. You know the stuff when you do it a lot. Probably how you are running your stream. You just know how all that stuff works. You got it. Do you do you use like a stream deck to launch that stuff? Oh, thanks, Nick. Yeah, uh, my buddy brought over an extra video card. Um, yeah, it's just OBS. I've got uh, I've got Stream Manager over here. It's so funny watching the delay between the actual OBS and then when it finally comes back on. Uh, no, just OBS. Awesome. So how are you launching all that stuff off of function keys? Cause you just do stuff. Oh, you have a bunch of stuff assigned to alerts. because it just a lot of it just happens on alerts. It's so cool. I mean, it's just like it's like it's like playing like a pinball machine going crazy. Yeah, sound commands. Probably a hundred of. Yeah, you've got yours is like a pinball machine running while you stream. And it's a hoot, man. It's so awesome. He's got the funniest alerts and commands. And you run these awesome campaigns. Uh, Cereal, milk. Uh, yeah, I recommend you guys check out his stream. It's just entertaining. That's just good TV. Uh, Sometimes he'll be streaming to hardly anyone, and I'm like, how is this possible? Like, I know it's like prime time in some country. They should be glued to the monitor or the phone or whatever they're looking at. They're not watching something more entertaining than the neck, man. Not even close. Not even close, you guys. Necro's way more entertaining than the American Ninja or whatever shows on. This all checked out and it's set up fine, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the back plate back on. I always put a little bit of tape just to keep the faux reverb down, because the bridge pickup's right there on the other side of those springs, and so it's singing its siren song on the other side of the wood. If you're trying to gent with your strat, you're gonna hear dong 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 behind it. Dong dong dong. His his wrapping's coming off of his thing. He needs to just pull the stuff off. This stuff will leave like weird indelible bubbles if you leave it on there too long. I don't know. It wants to come unwrapped. I may just pull it off for him because that's what he needs to do. Yep, I had 6 screws left over, even though I was taking them from the pit guard for the pit guard. From the pit guard for the pit guard. We the pit guard. Man, I was looking forward to the day I'd see Necro come bomb my stream, man. And Haze. Yeah. Oh wow, that's bonkers. I bet Suge in LA is awesome. Man, I bet that was a packed, loud show. They're just, man, they are a ritual. They are the they are the metal, man. Yeah, I mean they are an institution. There's got to be. I have to have missed one screw hole on this side because I have one extra screw. But no, I see all of them. It might be from something. It might be from some other gold hardware build that fell on the floor. Anyway, it fell on my table, and I got all the screws. So, ta-da! um, Check this out, Nick. I can I'll change scenes to so that we're looking down with that Makosi. That camera will zoom like crazy. It's one of those skinny Makosi HD cameras. Uh, this is gonna get way out of focus, but let me find it. It'll get crazy. Finally find the focus. But yeah, you can get. Wow, it's all the way over. I think it's. And my work table's on wheels, so I can move I can move my table, and I can move this neck stand to where. Oh, this is so unintuitive. I can never get my brain to work. This is like backwards and upside down trying to get. I'm not really showing anything revolutionary there, but sometimes it's fun to play with that. If anything, I'll probably go back to not so crazy. Let's compromise. Let's go somewhere in between. That'll work. I always keep a this work table's like a Seville. I think it's a Seville Classics, but it's on rollers and it's metal frame. So I always like my string winder. I keep magnets on. It just stick it. I just stick it to the side of the table. I always know where it is. I can just grab it. Same with the string cutters. Like they just stay on their little magnetic hanger. I don't even look anymore. uh, and the bristle, like boar bristle thing with a with a necrodymium magnet. I've been putting it on the back because try not to make you sick. This drawer here, sometimes I would keep it on the side right here. Whoa, we lost our thread. Keep it on the side right there, but this drawer has been kind of a war with that since setting up this stream thing. Get you back into an overshot. Nice. Oh wow, man, that's a good view. Look at the difference in the delay. Let's see if I can get my hand where you can see it in both things. The Makosi because it's HDMI going to a capture card. it's a lot of extra. It's a lot of extra processing it's going through. So the movement is like delayed, and it's like ultra delayed in the when it actually comes out of Twitch over there. I can look over and see what I did for like almost 8-10 seconds worth. It's like uh, if you want to see yourself on camera, just turn on Twitch dashboard. You can go over there and watch yourself for a long time before you look away from the camera. For us narcissists, I pride myself on trying not to be a narcissist, but tune 'em up, getting back to tension. This neck is gonna have a little bit of a advantage over the truss rod because it's been slack for a few days, but that's all right because I've got the fix for that. This guy is not in the this 4-string is not in the middle of his saddle. There we go. Oh man, how's it going? Get rated? I did, or am I gonna get rated again? Yeah, 13 viewers. That's more than I had. So man, thank you, thank you so much. I'll eventually get this channel on the radar. Man, there's so much fun to be had, man. We don't want to miss that on everybody's fun, man. We got so much stuff we can get up to, man. Perfectly not in tune. Also like on the edge of my table, I've always had let me see if I can find it. There we are. I have like a 3/8 hole where I keep my pitch pipe, like single A. It's always here. I don't even look anymore. I just reach up and grab my pitch pipe. Yeah, it's going through the microphone. I'm right in front of the mic. It better. You would expect it would. Let me make sure I'm not neglecting you guys. Man, Chris, good to see you, man. Yeah, I can. Yeah, it should be coming through. I saw it on the VU. I just use it as a quick test pitch. I tap every A. When one sharp, I just pull on it until it goes down to the pitch. I should be stretching all these actually. And I got the spring tension just tight enough in the back that you have to kind of overbend before it starts to lift that way it's easy to use the bar if you want to use it for going flat. Don't keep it too tight, you know. What are we saying? Into this stream and sent you what I have. Man, I appreciate it. That is super nice. I'll try not to be too boring. uh, well, with music instrument content, most definitely will. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, dude, I love instruments myself. It's yeah, anything stringed. I know. I just get captivated watching. I was watching some cello streams last night. Uh, Man, there's this Korean drummer girl. Trying to remember what her name is. She's amazing. And she sounds like a little Japanese. Or she just sounds like anime when she's talking. She's like, oh, so good. And then when she lays into the drums, it's like insane, dude. Oh, I'll try to figure out who she is and shout her out. You guys can all join her. She's awesome. I'm talking awesome. uh, like on to the power of 10, awesome. She's like what is happening? And she plays all styles of music too. She was doing some straight ahead jazz stuff, and then she played a funk and definitely funked it up, man. It was killer. I know Nick will like that. The funk, y'all. What the funk? Whenever whenever tension's been off of one that from a setup, I always grab the neck. You can see my hand here on the end of the headstock. I just give it a crunch, just kind of get it back into that strings have settled kind of state because the truss rod it has a lot of advantage over it when it doesn't have the string tension, so it'll stay there for a while. And so this is going to be probably a single action in there. I don't know. Double action's becoming the norm. Double action will adjust and push the neck forward whenever it zeroes out. And it's metal against metal in its adjustment instead of wood against wood, because a single action problem with it sounds good, takes out less wood, but it uses a curve in the channel with all thread of the rod are threaded on the end, and it has the plug on one end into the solid wood, and then it has a washer and a nut, and it's dependent on those surfaces to keep tension. Only thing is, with hot and cold, moist and dry, the wood's just kind of accordioning a little bit over time. So technically, your truss rod adjustment's tighter and looser with those changes. Dual action is metal against metal. It's just laying in a channel, working against itself, metal against metal. yes, the neck is changing that tiny bit, but it's not changing the adjustment of the truss rod in a double action. It takes out a little more material to get the two rods in there and the plugs and all that, but at least it's metal against metal. And a lot of times that's why they'll, like on the Guthrie Govans, they have a couple of graphite. Hey, thanks, Chris. Man, I appreciate it. The They have the graphite rods just to keep it stiff overall. It still reacts to the adjustment because the Charvels have got the wagon wheel down here, like you stick it in there like a hub and adjust it from this end. Uses it on the traditional end, but it has a cutout of the extended fretboard. You can just adjust it down there. It's handy. Uh, this guy's got the vintage modern adjustment on this end, which makes me wonder if it might be. I'm not going to loosen it to see if it tightens up again and pushes the neck forward. I think it's a single action, but whatever. It don't matter. I just wanted to talk on wax philosophical on that subject for a little bit. Give him a stretch. Man, I haven't counted the rotations of these, but there was a Squier I worked on the other day. Uh, have a great sleep. Oh man, oh it was over in Australia. Gotta go to sleep. Man, I sure appreciate it. I need to check. I need to make sure that I'm subscribed to Grizz. I sure do appreciate that. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna click on. Yeah, I'm absolutely gonna follow without fail. Excellent. Yeah, man, definitely get some shut eye. That's what I had to do. I was watching this guy playing some lightsaber game or whatever. It's like Fruit Ninja, but with an anime character and boxes flying at you. I can't remember. Nick might know what game it is, but I don't really know. It was interactive, man. Uh, See if the setup's holding up. So you're probably not gonna be able to hear a thing, but a G, A flat, C, A sharp, G, add 9, add 9. Yeah, it's good. Actions down there. Pretty thin pick. Yeah, it doesn't quite hold up at the 21st, but it does have a little bit rounder radius. A lot of times, whenever I get done doing a level crown, hey kitty, awesome, good to have you. A lot of times when I get done with a level crown and set up where it'll go, just taking off the little bit of ramp that happens, just in as neck settle and all that, get all that straight under tension with it tight. Yeah, you could take a regular heavy to medium pick like this and slide it under the 21st or 22nd fret, and it'll hold the pickup. And I mean, the action's crazy low and it doesn't buzz anywhere. It doesn't sound, if you get it right, it doesn't even sound like low action. It just sounds musical because you're bending things so less out of tune, because there's a lot going on when, depending on with the flawed scale length of a guitar being in straight lines, which we know in music the thirds want to be a little bit flatter, fifths want to be a little sharper for it to sound like a choir in tune. That's why pianos have like three strings. One sharp, one's flat, one's on the fundamental. Just so when you play uh, natural natural voicings versus major voicings, that there's something for your ear to latch onto that sounds right. Doesn't sound just too bent out of tune. Uh, but it's wild whenever you get a good sounding uh, fundamental note of one with a major third, and you get it in tune, and then uh, play what a piano's tuned to. It's like it's it's like definitely more than a microtone off. It's way different. Uh, but the closer you can get this stuff, uh, like let's see, we've got that cam going. I'll turn on this spotlight here, which definitely freaks the camera out. But I always use a, like you can see those shadows. You can see those shadows moving a little bit. I'll actually use those shadows to gauge so that the nut slots are exactly the height of a fret next to a fret. Like it needs to all be exactly the same height, so that you can still hear, like when you press it at the second fret, you should still be able to hear a hammer on with that tiny string between those. It shouldn't touch it, but you shouldn't be able to see it move. It should be so close, because you can do that too. You can press between frets, and you can make a hammer on between these notes. Even though I'm pressing here and here, let me get out of the light. Like if I press here and here, like 4 frets away, you can hear a hammer on between those two. Like you can even hear that tiny little string between those two. If I So you should be able to hear. It should be level enough where you can hear every one of those notes, because when you press the strings, it puts a tiny, tiny little arc in the string, and you should be able to hear every note between every fret. Like it shouldn't be laying on it, muting it out. If it is laying on it and you press down to a hammer on, you're not gonna hear a hammer on because it's touching the fret. That means that fret's higher, the other one's low. Yeah, I mean I use naturally I use like an aluminum piece of an aluminum rod that I've run on a precision ground straight edge to make sure, and this doesn't scratch up frets whenever I'm checking out a new guitar coming in. This just stays right here by the neck crest, because every time I'm gonna be like, there's one that's got a little bit, but this is a setup. I came in and like shaved with the vibrato before polishing, but you won't get 100% of those on on just a setup. I'm towards the end too. On Squiers, you're always going to have a little bit of fret raising on the ends sometimes. I think they're gluing the frets in these, but not with anything major. But yeah, man. All right, you guys. Curse over here. Um, Hang in there with me for just a second, and I'll be back. Just a minute. remember to turn my mic back on. I'll be right back. I mean, I am back, but apparently I'll be right back. And on the Big John schedule, which is who knows what. I'm still up in the air when are best times to stream, because I mean everybody's all around the world. I guess I'll try to do something. I want to stream probably a little bit, a couple times a day, so I can hit as many people's schedule as possible. Technically, I'm back. That's a pretty cool angle with the overhead cam. I'm pretty well done up there, though. Here, we'll go back to this guy. And this is like just a 720p. But if I am back there, it's just nice. If I have to mix something up or refill in some super glue and I don't want to get anywhere near a guitar, it's nice to do that back on the stainless steel table. And I have the Dremel back here. The it's not like like a a Fordham or anything, but I do have my Dremel hanging, so I can reach as far as over to this table where this other monitor is, and yeah, it just makes it handy. Yeah, you guys can see that. That's cool. I keep a couple towels over here in case, like, this guitar was over there, just something soft for them to sit on. And if you're doing any shaping, keeps you working, keeps the workflow going. Like a chorus effect at the beat frequencies 10/4. Yeah, yeah. You really hear it. That you start to hear the math in the modulation between notes. You're right. Uh, not even the notes we sing, we can't sing perfect. Even somebody with perfect pitch, uh, the body can only do, the voice can only do so much, the ears can only do so much. Razor Shred, there's the guy I'm talking about. I get stuck on his stream at night so long sometimes. Uh, Excellent, dude. Here we are in Big John's madness. Welcome in. Uh, Speaking of Charvel's, he got one of the Guthrie Go Vans. Uh, Yours is like the first series, or is it the second series? Ah, it's killer. But yeah, the Guthrie Go Van has the two graphite rods. It does have a dual action truss rod, not like you need it, but the advantage of the dual action truss rod is it's metal against metal instead of metal ends against wood, because the wood's always, even roasted maple still has a little bit of shrink and compression and swell. Not very much, but it's still there. He's taking that thing all over the place. I've watched some of his Instagrams where he had it years ago. Killer guitar, man. And he plays it killer too. Go check out his Rocksmith stream. Total entertainment. Total entertainment. I need to learn how to do shout outs. I'm going to see if I can get one to work. See if it'll pull up. I gotta keep practicing stuff, man. Let's see. Exclamation point. S-O. Oh, I'm not latched on to the chat. It's not giving me let me see if I can get it to work. I might have to get it. No, I'll have to get it accurate. I'll have to get it. I'll have to get the accurate. I guess it's case sensitive. I'll learn how to do this stuff. What do I do? I hit. Oh, guess when I was grabbing that. Sorry, you guys. I went to grab the mouse and it was on one of the scenes. Yeah. Someone was telling me to do the slash, but I don't know. Do I have to get the case sensitive? Uh, is it case sensitive? It has to be the right username. Needs to be programmed. No? Cool. I'm gonna. You guys bear with me. I'm gonna try this because I'd like to get better at doing that. Because I got people here I'm grateful for, man. They've been into my and followed my thing before I even had videos. I don't have any. I have like one clip. I need to start saving some video on demands. But so when people come looking, there's some example of what's going on. All right. So forward slash shout out and then space channel name. I'm gonna try it. Oh no, my moderators. My settings are my settings. I brought them back to minimum and it's just timing people out. So sorry for that. I do not want it set that way, and it's just still. It seems like it's in Stream Elements. I've got to go in and just shut that stuff off because it's it's like cancel culture. It just shoves everybody away. Yeah, man. It's and it takes them out for like 5 minutes. Like, and I set that to the shortest time, and it just didn't stick. I don't know if we didn't hit save or OK at the bottom or something, but it's still messing. It's still messing with chat. Yeah, for sure, get annoying. Not cool. Not cool, man. I mean, technically they're and they're still hearing, and a lot of times people are just kind of listening and doing their thing. Some people are at work and they just kind of have it on in the background. Like it's not a super big deal, but I don't. That ain't me. I don't want that. I don't want it killing it killing my chat. Like for one, I'm using that as reference, like uh, where they last were. Uh, I have dashboard. I have dashboard and Stream Manager open. I guess, but it's still. I think it's still even messing with the chat. Like Gris is still there. Richard said. Deltronics. I don't know where exactly. I mean, it was just you and me talking there for a while. Yeah, first time chat. I'm finally here. Yeah, it was awesome. Oh well. I'll I should see this through though. I should see this through. See if I can get this to work while it's on screen. Where haven't I've been looking at a phone for so long I don't even know where the slashes are. Good grief. Seriously, I'm just staring at this thing and I know it's there. It's at the bottom. Don't have to hit shift. uh, so so it's not autofilling. Auto auto mod be whacked for sure, man. I still didn't get it right. Shout out was given to Red. Okay, it found it. I can doesn't look too grandiose on the chat, but it's there. And I definitely I definitely mean to shout you out. It ain't no mistake. And I'll get I'll get to where I do that for everyone. I have a ton of people come in. Like have you ever checked out Necrocatic Games? He was on here a little while ago. Oh man, his stream's a hoot. He's on late, so in between stuff, if you haven't started or you're getting done, he might be streaming. Oh man, he plays bass. Awesome. Uh, he plays bass on stream sometimes, but he definitely has a bunch of sound clips and alerts and I forget what he called them. Anyway, you know what I mean. Uh, they're activated off of sound alerts and people can uh, tons of redeems and stuff like that. Uh, oh yeah, hey there's Nick. You didn't abandon us, thank you. Oh, you're like a drink of cool water. Oh, you guys will enjoy you'll enjoy each other's streams, I guarantee. Yeah, good times for sure, man. Good times. All right, I still got my soldering iron on, but I don't need it. I don't think, not right now. I have this little bitty little smoky amp that I can plug in, but I think the battery's finally dead. I need to undo the screws and put a fresh battery in it. Sometimes I'll just test the wiring out with it because I don't have to plug into an amp. I don't haven't moved a cab and an amp over here because this menagerie is the new thing, the craziness. For now, since we've got this guy on the main screen, this is the this is the PC my buddy built for me. It's his old gaming PC. You can see the dongle for the GameCon, the two USBs that go to the keyboard for the USB hub. It's got a ton of USBs. One of them's got one plugged in down there, but there's like two or three USB 3s in the bottom too. It's a cool case with the extra cooling. Uh, Soft box, which I am actually finding helps. Like it seemed like it was too much. Like I'm a little washed out, but I can actually. It's enough that I can see, and the shot looks good. Like the shots, it doesn't destroy the shot because it's not light coming from one beam. It's a little bit of a wash. You got this. Don't make you guys sick. You got the belt sander over there. I have it in front of the window so I can put a box fan in the window and run the dust out the window. There's a magnetic, you see that magnetic camera stand? It's got quarter 20 thread on it. Damn, that magnet is stout on that thing. There's the case rack for incoming, outgoing work. Parts on another baker rack. Aluminum neck. I got to get that done for Civil Audio. That's actually one of his t-shirts. This is his old cat, Lucy, that died. Got a new one though. Definitely was an awesome cat. Toolbox with Sweetwater stickers. We ate wet sweater stew. You can spell all kinds of ridiculous stuff. a filter cube. It's got like the 20 by 20 cubes taped to a box fan. You got your retro wood paneling, which I love, and old guitar paintings and stuff. And then the other table, which you guys got a pretty good view of that one with the 720 cam. Oh yeah, let's keep going though. We got more we could see. I'm gonna actually pivot the whole shooting match around. You're on the boom arm right now, turning. This is my desk where I try out pedals and stuff. Oh yeah, there's the desk. Uh, Leather chair, and then you got the amp wall, which is various things. I'm not being still enough for it to. There it goes. Yeah, you got like a Soldano Mini, and that's actually a Voodoo Labs in the box on top of that cab. That's a really cool cab, that 212. Yeah, man. It's got like I have a Neovin uh what is it? A Neo Creamback in the top, and then the regular V type that came with it. They this thing the speakers were loose from coming from England, and once it finally got the second UPS to my house, one of the speakers was just banging around inside that cabinet. But it's a limited edition, and I just kept it. It's got a little tear in the Tolex, uh, one of those uh, one of those front angle corners, but I just glued it down. I I got it on a really good deal, and the clean in that one video is that um, Princeton chorus. Those Champion 20s, the little Fender Champion 20, I put the same closed circuit speaker jack in those. Man, you run those things to a cab like that, or the Marshall down there, it's next level, man. It sounds so much better. That's great for practice, that little 8 that's in there, but you run it into a real cab, match the impedance as close as you can. It's solid state, so it's not that picky. But yeah, man, killer. The Soldado Mini's pretty cool though, and a micro dark head up there. All right, I'm gonna try not to make you guys too sick here. I should minimize this one so it's not such a such a. It's kind of like you're riding on a ship or something. All right. How long have we been going, guys? I've accidentally started and stopped my a little over 2 hours. I'm sure there's something else. I'm sure there's other things we can be doing and talking about. 7 people. Happy to have you. Appreciate you, man. Mm. Mm, 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 mm. I need to do. I need to do a good demonstration video of this wiring. I have one. I have one of a blue parts caster, really nice. Uh, Metal Flake blue uh, strat build. Yeah, the gold is cool, man. It is. It's not the fanciest like USA style hardware, but it looks good. This anodized guard, and you can tell it's like the 60s version because it's an 11 hole instead of an 8 hole. How many screw holes it has in it? In the 60s, that's when they went to the rosewood veneers back in the day. So that hole pattern matches a rosewood neck, and they did have some bound necks back then. Uh, More like on Jazzmasters and Jaguars and stuff, certain years, certain models. But there were some, like a few, they're rare, but strats. Like the Eric Johnson strat that has that one model he does that's you find it mostly in Lake Placid blue, a modern version of it, but with the binding. Good looking guitars. His always has the quarter sawn maple neck, so the annular lines go straight through the neck that way. Makes it rigid, kind of like a an organic version of the graphite rods. If you can just get the edgeways of the annular lines going through the neck with the tension of the strings, it's just way stiffer. Has more memory. It can go sideways, up and down sideways a little bit with the grain, but usually it's not much. If you're using good cured wood. Um, I was saying, I remember I interrupted myself. There was one of these Squiers. I tested the the Cluson style tuners, and it was you could pull on the strings. It was like banjo tuners. It would just unroll the Like it literally spin the tuner head, and I measured it and it was 7-to-1 ratio. I've never seen any tuners that were like below a 10-to-1. It was 7-to-1. It was just above like a friction tuner. It was just like awful. These are kind of quick, but I don't think they're that bad. 7-to-1 ratio for every revolution of the peg up there. It would you turn this 7 times. Normally, like the tuners we like are 14 or 18-to-1. Like that's what we get good tuning with and good control. 7-to-1. It's almost like tying the string in a knot up there and yanking on it till you get it in tune. It's not very good. Yeah, that was weird. I had to get him some replacement tuners for that one. That was nuts. I have this one. I'm gonna leave you guys on that picture over there, and I'll find this video. There's one I think it'd be cool to check out. Let me go. Squier Shield. Oh, that's a good video. I could start playing that one. It's not very long. It's only like 2 minutes long. Let's play it. Let's do it. Let me bring this over here. Kind of interesting. I've actually got this guitar back in the here. It's my buddy's. Let me get it playing. Yeah, it's not redlining. Pretty balanced. Yeah, I did a level crown on it. That's what I mean by the pick down at the 21st fret. It's like around 46 thousandths of an inch at the 21st fret. And the neck was really crooked. You can see those screw holes where I filled them. Neck was pointing wrong. It was not the original neck to that guitar though. That's phone audio. That's why it's kind of buzzy or like trebly. Fisher-Price tuners, right? That's pretty spot on. Those tuners were bad, really bad. I know you guys have encountered something like that. Oh man, they looked perfect. They were just horrible. Normally the Squier 51 doesn't have that switch in there. It's usually like a rotary switch in where the tone is. But somebody had done some drilling. See, that's after shielding. No pop, no buzz. Doesn't change the tone at all. You can tell it's plenty of highs, plenty of brightness. Just no noise. You guys will get sick of me saying it. It's a regular thing with me. Yeah, Bourne's pots. Freeway. Here's that G add 9 chord. There's the C, A sharp, and back to G add 9. I love that chord. It's so cool. Man, my silliness. That was a short video. I was just gonna leave it on that one. So, I don't see the here. Let's play. Seriously, let's play this one. This is that the tone, like the tone split. You'll see me playing with the tone control and it'll go to single coil. That's what they used to do on the PVT 60s. On a one humbucker guitar you can do that and it just gives you all this splitty things without having to have push pulls and extra. You're just using the regular parts that comes with the guitar. See, it goes to single coil. There's a treble bleed. This one gets bigger when I turn up. see fatter, way fatter. Normally it gets really dull when you turn down. It takes a while to nail the treble bleed on certain pickups and guitars. They're not all the same. Yeah, I rolled it back, now it's humbucker. Humbucker. Tone control. Way more tone control. But listen, it ducks away because I output loaded. You attach the tone control to the output load, go into the jack, and it'll do that. It'll scale. It'll drop. That tone control will drop down lesser. It won't go away, but it'll drop down out of the way. It's really helpful. Works on bass too, Nick. It works. It's if you're wanting to be able to scale back and have it clean up and become real stringy, you can output load your tone to the outputs. Like on a J bass, it's that way naturally because you don't have a pickup switch. There's the SG-15. It's a good amp, man. Going into the 212. That's just phone audio though, because I don't have my lavalier mic on. I'm not talking. I guess my charger's hanging in there on my headset. I might go dead at any moment. I didn't charge it last night. See, I'm trying to make instruction video. I'm trying to do something. There's my phone number if you want to call me or text me. I shouldn't be showing the crap online, but whatever. I don't have to take the calls or the messages. There is a pretty good demo of let's just go back. Nope. Nope.
Paul was saying post a thing, so I should.
I'll play this again. It's kind of interesting. It's not very long.
I was mentioning Keith chords, like a modified Keith chord in standard tuning, which is it's inviting tendonitis is what it is. Like anytime you play like a regular A with like you're playing the whole major triad with just one finger. Like you got an A chord and then you
A major.
Then you throw on that D major triad on in the middle of it. That's basically the voicing of the G tuning that Keith Richards plays. You know, the strings around it are tuned down to make that open, that major
silliness,
which is already at G, so they just drop the others to make it
twice the
G
silliness because I'm over here,
but
I'm over there.
If you can play a one finger,
see what you got yourself into.
Major triad like that, and you bar, and then you can take your middle finger and make that same triad. Now I have a B major chord with two fingers, which leaves these.
It's a little painful to do that actually.
Open to.
It's easier up to the skinny, like frets are closer together.
It's not easy. You kind of have to get your elbow almost in the cutaway to do it. But if you take Unchained, like it's like down in, but it's to drop down to D, but move it up to E. Well, there you have that standard tuning, so it sounds more Keithy anyway.
You hear the Texan coming at damn standard tuning.
That G is the middle strings are tuned to actually standard, and then the others are dropped down to make a G, an open G, but it sounds more standard in tension. So I go up to the 7th fret and
Keith playing Unchained. Stupid. I'd go hear a band that played that though. That'd be awesome.
You get
stupid.
You get Keith playing Unchained.
What would you call a band that was hybrid Rolling Stones and Van Halen? Okay, you guys have to come up with a good
Anyway,
hybrid
that's what I
band
was
name.
talking about. It's hilarious.
That's a Pine Telly with DiMarzio
So
36
good.
anniversaries. They sound really good. Yeah, pretty. I love that guitar. I still have it. I don't like how fat the neck is on it. It's a Mighty Mite neck that my brother, who's like Romco guitars, uh, had it in a batch of necks that I got off of him. It had the vendor logo and all that stuff, and was ready to go. I had an American standard Strat neck on it, or Lone Star Strat neck on it, but I went with that one so to have the telly head on it. Come on, John, you can find it. Let's just go to our menu and go to library, history, and I will just find the video. Whoa. Oh, that's not your videos, and it jumps to another screen. How many have I got open now? I should close some of these. Don't want to close Twitch. Extra YouTube. Extra YouTube. Alright, wow, I've closed a bunch. Alright. Let me go down here till I find that blue Strat. It's down here a ways. Oh, these little they're so little. It's hard to find. It's one of these. That's a Eastman 335 type. There it is, right below it. Let me click on this, and of course it goes to another. And I'll make it bigger.
Hello all.
This is similar to the wiring
video of this
on this guitar.
Parts caster, but as you can see, it was Fender.
It's a six-way Strat switch though, which adds without having to do an extra push pull or a blend. It blends the
he got for this. They sound
the
great,
neck
though.
and bridge on the 6th position, which works with this series wiring without shorting anything out. That's one reason I decided to use that.
Bogner Shiva clean channel.
Nice
Reverb
belly,
on.
buddy. Big John in his belly.
Tone control on the bottom is just the bridge pickup. I don't.
Yeah, attach
If you wanted to leave it,
the tone of that one only to
I
the
think I even
bridge.
have it not on the 2nd position. It stops working on. It only works on the 1st position because it's a super switch. Yeah. And for the other parts, if you wanted to not use it at all and darken it, you can lift the ground of these pickups and run it to the middle. Not a tone control. Well, it's kind of a megatone control.
It is. It picks the volume up instead of bringing it down like a.
That's the bridge position.
Engage the tone control. Usually you're shunting highs off the ground, and so you don't have near the volume you would. Whereas with the series, you're picking up gain as you go, and to the point where it's just like a boost.
There we go. Bridge and middle, just middle. Yeah, I think it's got a lot of power. I think that's why the series sound is so powerful.
Yeah, that middle pickup was pretty robust.
That's quite a middle pickup.
I think they were like Dave Allen pickups.
Yeah. Middle and neck. Wow, yeah.
And the audio in that is just the room sound coming through my lavalier mic. I was recording this with a Samsung
Just a neck,
S7 Edge.
which is all right.
But it made my voice loud enough into the lavalier mic.
And then it's 6-position switch, which is the last is I have pre-wired as the bridge and neck together.
To where something about the Samsung,
which is cool.
Says Edge phones.
The way I'm using that middle knob to lift the grounds and play it in series, it'll do it with these two parallel to end to that middle.
It didn't have the noise cancellation, which causes that warble.
Oh, you still get the bridge putting its high end,
canceling out sound, so it just sounds great. It's a
Very
Rode
cool sound.
A Rode lavalier mic.
But even those just on all the way, just the 2 pickups.
I suggested that mic to a lot of people. I don't know if anyone ever got one, but they were excellent.
If you just want to do a touch, that's the cool thing about that control being on a potentiometer.
Excellent.
You don't have to use very much of it
for in the room recording videos, because it sounds good.
It's like a tone control that doesn't go down and out, but it goes up and output. So changes the sound of it. It's no longer one pickup when you use it.
The video quality sucks because I'm using the camera on the screen side.
The treble bleed,
so I can see if I'm in frame.
Across the volume pot works the whole. Just a nice air of presence without being annoying.
You'll hear that treble bleed a lot more on the dirt sound in a minute. It's always more extreme on the dirt sound. But it holds up the clean. It holds up the highs and the cleans so beautifully. I can't live without it. I don't.
Treble bleed's nice even on clean.
I don't enjoy playing without it. It's just not. It's
more
not
effective
the same.
on dirt, but it sounds really good on clean too.
Hear that room ambience?
Yeah, it's a bridge pickup. A lot of times, treble bleed on the bridge pickups just, you just want to throw the guitar. It's so annoying. It's usually too bright. Here, let's get it all bridge.
Yeah, people throw like
it's a good sound.
1,000 picofarad capacitor across the input and the output. Just a regular treble bleed cap. Oh, it sounds like a transistor radio if it's with the wrong pickups. You have to get the right resistance resistor parallel with the right capacitor. Every guitar's a little different. That's one reason I'm teaching this stuff online. It's like it's impossible for me to charge someone what the time it takes to do this stuff for real. That's why I want to start just teaching it so people can take the knowledge and spend their own time getting stuff the way they want. For one, you're not going to find anybody that does this. They don't take the time to do it. Or I don't know, they don't understand it or just don't care. I don't know. But you need to be able to hunt that stuff down for yourselves. That way you can get your tone, your feel, and just perfect it over time.
Guitar building. I've had this a while. I need to get this tunic, so got a video. You guys
That's
can
been a couple years ago at this point.
Tell me what you think of it. Thanks.
That's my business card. Flame maple with a couple of headstocks button up to one another. All right, we need to get back to the program here. See if anybody's left. Wouldn't blame you guys for bailing on me. I don't blame you for none of it. All love, man. Got 5 people on. I sure appreciate you. I do. Let me get you guys a decent scene going here. Something normal. Here, I could just talk to you guys here. Yeah, the delay is so long. It's just weird. I can slowly see myself turn around. I'm easily amazed with the little bells and whistles. Man, thanks for hanging out, guys. What have we gone? We're at 2 hours 40 minutes. It's pretty good. Just trying to get my numbers up, and there's always stuff to talk about. The random stuff. Hey, hey, Mark, that dude. Thank you. That's super sweet. Man, I appreciate you so much. And whenever I say handsome, I'm talking about you. Guitar's awesome too, but I'm talking about the man, the B bum, Bumstead. Greatness. Yeah, even if we're just keeping it random and showing stuff, I'm kind of a tone addict like a lot of us. I It's all these little nuances, and every pedal in the chain's gonna change it. But even even the right guitar into the right amp, treble bleeds. It's another level of what you can get out of stuff. I mean, you can do the thing where you tap in the right impedance into a cab off a small amp, like safely tap into it with a closed circuit jack, so it'll go off, feed a cab. So now you got the bigger sound with a small amp that you can overflow the amount of electrons that are going into the power section and get that resonance. And you can only fit so many electrons into a little power tube, so therefore it starts to distort and saturate. It's not always dirty. Sometimes it's a natural compression that's better. It's better than studio compression in a way because it feels right to us. So, man, you can take the right treble bleed into that. Now you start starving those lows a tiny bit as you turn down. It's saturated. It doesn't go down in output. It just sounds immediately cleaner. Same volume, and then this gorgeous clean sound, depending on what pickup you're in. Like whether it's a combination or the middle or combination of the neck and middle. But now you roll that treble bleed back, the right treble bleed. You gotta find the one for you. And then it's all of a sudden it just turns into this magic clean sound. It'll do that with old fuzzes, but then you can't use a treble bleed because it's a lower impedance input. Like Greg and Amp Mods guys, then they'll tell you about that. All the nuances, that stuff. That gets so deep. I don't even. I understand kind of, but I don't know the math and the schematics to all that stuff. Like they'll get to talking about inductance, winding pickups, and all that. I don't have anything to get those readings. That's not my jam. I don't know that specifically. I can hear differences, but I don't know necessarily that specifically. That's not what I do. Mainly my thing is just ultra ultra good fretwork. I always do my levels at tension and get the shape I want in the neck. A little more relief on the bass side and a little less on the treble side because of the size of the string. This guy, the little guy, vibrates has a far smaller excursion than the bass string has a much larger asterisk or excursion in its vibration. Just give it more room. I put my boots on. Yes, sir. Uh, Even in the DAW, we use some saturation often to compress. So you got that right. You get the right, man, especially when you get some of those Neve style plugins that uh, they mimic the reaction of an actual the Neve transformers or the Jensen transformers or the I forget the other one. There's a few really good old school company transformers, and they're not the big ones, not power transformers. They're just the ones that change the impedance to the right thing. They'll up it or bring it down, scale it down. But you saturate those, and it's a sound all in itself, and it just feels good. It's what we know as classic music. It translates into digital because it's the origin or the feel of that sound, and then the digital just kind of puts it in bells and whistles and pokes it at your ear. But if you can get those nuances leveled out before the fact and get the level up to where everything's strong, it sounds better. Just sounds better. Yeah, magnetic saturation, transformer, core, hysteresis. Yeah, you're starting to get into the terms that are like, whoa, it's really scientific. But you can hear the difference, and it feels different to listen to and to play through. It's just something's more there. So it's not a treble knob, and it's not a mid. It's not EQ. It's how it lives. It's how the signal lives. The signal path. It feels different. Sounds good coming out the other end. Sounds good. Yeah, they have those beautiful harmonics. It is. It's something. It's something in the natural mathematics of those electrons uh, interacting with one another. You're just gonna get that cosmic math. It's just things that about the universe that marvel us. It's so huge, and but there's some obviously so much dark matter. And how can everything be expanding in the universe exponentially, and we still see it as uh, red wavelength light coming back at us. I guess where it left off, it's still left off some light, but it's going faster than the light it's sending. Who knows in reality where any of this stuff is? Like if you could shoot I'm yeah yeah redshift science, actual scientific terms. Thanks. We appreciate that here in Texas. Talking about redshift, I'm going back and forth. I bet it's the little bit of sunlight that's trying to peek through. Yeah, there's the sun over there. I can see it peeking through the blinds and the tree leaves. Yeah, oh man, nerding out is the best. It really is. In our short existence in time, you just nerd out all you can and absorb all you can, or pay attention to really cool conversations where people know what they're talking about. Whether whether you feel like doing the work and putting in the book time or not, it's still interesting. You can appreciate it. Yeah, just do what you do. Find out what you're good at and latch onto it. Squeeze that sponge till you get every drop you can. I'm starting to, yeah, wow. I start waxing philosophical aimlessly. I'm getting towards the end of, of of my productive period here. We're only at we're only at 2 hours and 48 minutes. We could get a solid three. Let's talk about this the setup here a little bit more. This is uh this is my three-corner file. Let me give you guys a better camera. I could just hold it up there. Don't matter. Uh, Worn out. Man, I've been using this Nicholson three-corner file. It's a end of a Q stick as a dowel rod because it's hard, dependable, and you can tell I've had it on a pegboard before because I've got a hole through it. Uh, but just pretty much worn out. But I can get I can get a better than factory polished finish with just this because of how it's worn out. Yeah, man. It's And I'll show all that stuff along the way. I'm not going to try to hoard the stuff. I do apologize. When I make affiliate, I am going to throw ads on to discourage uh, absolutely giving away guitar secrets for nothing. Well, at least I'll get some affiliate. But as I get that stuff, I'm gonna gift sub all my regulars, people that are here hanging for me now. I'm gonna regularly gift sub. Like Mark is never gonna have to pay for a subscription unless he just insists on it or something. But I'm I'm gonna cover all my people that help me build up my channel. I sure appreciate it. But the average Joe, uh, Greg was saying he doesn't really need the stream for revenue, which I'm super proud of him for that. Working hard all his life in his methods. He's done work for a lot of people. He's out there on the West Coast, so he's more handy to a lot of the industry out there. I had thought about moving out there many times. Like half of California, if not two-thirds of it, moved to Dallas, Fort Worth, and Austin because of just the state of the world. So I don't know, a bunch of people are here now, but it's still where the industry is. I think it's cool that he's been able to do that work. But because of this, it's a small world. We just gotta keep making content. My brother gave me these old Stumac nut files. Oh my gosh, these things are getting so worn out. Uh, even got the base size ones too for Necro if he's still watching. Necro Cadet Games. I was just trying to shout him out. His stream is a hoot, dude. I don't care how old you are. It's hilarious. Oh my gosh, just watching his chat alerts and stuff. It's like, how on earth? How on earth do you get all this to work? It's crazy. Uh, what else is something? Oh man, this will be a whole stream. I keep a a bamboo a bamboo handle toothbrush. That's just whenever you're filing nut slots, you're trying to get clean the slots as you go, so the string really falls to the bottom of the slot. Keep it clean. Also, where the magnet stuck to the table, bristle for dust brush. Doesn't scratch. I mean, it can put little swirl marks because it'll pick up gritty stuff and any residue with it. But man, always always sticks to the metal. I don't even look anymore. String winder stuck to the table. I don't even look. String cutters stuck to the table. I don't even look. Uh, I was trying to move all my operation to these Harbor Freight tables that everything's sitting on in an L now. They were together. It's a different height. It didn't have metal in the bottom. I couldn't think. It was just like somebody tied one of your hands behind your back. Uh, it's just so I ended up going with this crazy this crazy table, and on the wheels, because if I drop something, I can roll this table around. I can get under it. If a screw goes under it, I just roll it out of the way. If Yeah, you can see I got a little sticky sandpaper on the side of here, some tape from something, and where's that? I usually put it on the side, but the drawers of the Harbor Freight table have been playing havoc with it, so I've just been sticking it on the back. You don't really have to look. You know where it's at. You just grab it. That's kind of handy for your workflow to have stuff where you know where it is without it getting in your way and getting knocked off. Wiring stuff in the drawer here, caps and resistors, the drawer below it, just while I'm soldering. Uh, I don't have to go sondering off to go find them. Honestly, my old setup on the other side over by that window, that's where the sander still is. I used to have this rolling table between there where that is. Uh, like the stainless table was over there where those clothes are, and this rolling table here, this guy that we're on was in that by the window next to my sander. So it's closer to that. Probably not a good idea to get that much sanding dust on the guitar you're working on. I would just put a box fan in the window. It's one reason I'm leaving it over there. I've contemplated running the sander back here, but the Dremel's already there, and I've got the dust collector back there. It's not a real dust; it's just a cube uh, taped together. Be enough of making you guys sick with that camera. Sorry. I've thought about putting it over here, but man, it takes up so much room. And this table, it's a 4 foot wide table, but Man, when you get to doing stuff, you need a place to lay a guitar, or if you have multiple jobs going on, which, I mean, you need to be able to have a couple, two or three things going at once because you're waiting for stuff to dry, set up. Uh, that's another trick with super glue. I mean, you never want to, if you're using silane or acrylate, you can use accelerator, but it just weakens it like 3 times as weak as if you just let it cure on its own. Uh, One thing you can do to speed up curing time is like use your breath against it before you put a drop. The little bit of breath mist, it reacts to moisture. That's like like a slow accelerator. If you really want uh, cyanoacrylate glues to glue hard, you can actually spritz like wood with a just a bottle of water with a real fine mist spray. You can just put a little mist of spray that falls on it, and then put your glue and put the parts together. Get them straight fast because they are gonna bond like that. But that's one way to get the medium super glues to speed up is using a little bit of uh, water vapor. Like try to get a mister type, a really good spray bottle with like a mister quality spray nozzle on it. It works really good. I've seen a number of videos doing that, and it works. It really works. And it doesn't really lock any dangerous moisture in it into the wood or anything. Like you don't want to saturate it. You're just trying to get it a little moist, and it'll speed up a medium, like not water thin. Like the medium will kind of sits in a kind of a bead form, or if you put a strip of it, it'll stay in more of a long bead. It's easier to control, but that little bit of moisture will give it something to start working on, and it'll heat it up. It'll react. It was originally designed for medical procedures, so it's made to bam to just get really hot and cure on wet or like carbon based or like organic strange stuff. I uh, nearly ripped this finger off at used to dirt jump bikes, and I was just sitting rolling through some whoops and lost. No, it was this one. It was my middle finger. It's a little bit of a scar there, but uh, I actually fixed that with super glue. I went to Care Now, and they said, "Oh, you're gonna have to go see a plastic surgeon. We can't do anything. This wound's too old. It's just like a few hours old." And I cleaned it out. Oh, it made me so nauseated. Ooh, I was in shock, nausea from it. It was gnarly, but it was a rip. It wasn't a slice. So and I had really thick calluses from holding on to bike grips. Uh, Anyway, got it clean and just folded my finger in and glued the calluses to the calluses for a while. And I had this salve that had a little bit of lanacane in it. S- Uh, staff staff. I don't know. It was the best salve I've ever seen. I don't I, I don't know what brand it was. It was the I can't find it anymore. It smelled really cool. It smells like all those lanacanes. Had kind of a minty smell to it. God, stuff was amazing. Anyway, healed perfect. Like perfect. Like no plastic surgeon could have done a better job of healing. And I nearly ripped my damn finger off. It was disgusting. Oh, yeah, I keep these over here all the time. Just usually charge phones over here because this table's not as busy. Uh, I always keep different sizes of surgical rubber around for these. Funny thing is you can actually, if you get the right size of these are really good for pulling pots through, like on a semi hollow, because this will fit through the regular size hole, like a 3/8 hole, and then it'll get it to where you can pull that stuff and get the uh, a wiring harness in the right place. This stuff is perfect, and I mean it won't let go until you're ready to let go. You have to push through one of the holes and hold it down, and then it'll pop off. It'll pop off of the threads of the pot. Uh, of course, you can do a guitar string or regular string. You just have to keep that stuff tied off to something because it'll get sucked into the hollow body trying to get that stuff started. It wants to hang on everything. Guitar strings, of course, want to hang on everything. It's really hard to get those things to latch onto the split shaft of a pot and solid shaft pot. Like if you're using a dome knob or some kind of a set thread, forget about it. You can't get anything tied to that. That's why I came up with that surgical rubber. Works really good. Oh, yeah, thanks, Dill. Supper time. Awesome. Have a great. Yeah, man. I sure appreciate you guys. It's good time. I could talk about this silly stuff forever. Yeah, we went from 7 to 6. I guess we were down to 4 at one time, 5, and then it got raided. Oh man, what else is pertinent to our conversation? Just always have um, just random catch trays of parts, just things that I put shielding, little cutouts of shielding tape. These these Stumac neck pocket shims. These things are about $11. I can't make something this accurate for $11 of my time. I hate having to pay for these, but wow, are they accurate? And they come in even though it's a smaller number, it's a more extreme, it's a more extreme angle being 1 full degree. You got 1 degree, zero point 0.5 of which is going to be half a degree, and 0.25 which is a quarter of a degree, which definitely still is a noticeable, sort of like a moonshot. It doesn't seem like much in that area, but when you go the length of a neck, it really changes where the strings come back, and hit that height where they come up to, just to give you enough room for like a, if you've got a Bigsby or a Jazzmaster type tailpiece on something, you gotta have just enough break angle. Some guitars, you just trying to get past the stock the stock hardware without having to cut it off on the bottom. You can put a slight angle in there. Plus you're touching, you're touching the full neck pocket. This gives you a little bit of compression, but it's rock maple, so it's pretty good tone transference, and it's touching more places. So yeah, it's nice. This is a base one. It's one reason it's so big. I get the big ones because I can cut them down. The the neck plate is the same hole pattern, so I don't even mess around. I just get the bigger one. You can get these in a stock too with no holes in it, I think. So I just get this because it's already got holes in it and it's big enough for a bass, and I can make it the shape I want for a guitar easily. Yeah, no big deal. Like you even visually can line it up with the holes of one and then mark underneath and lay a neck on and just draw around it with a pencil and just chase it with some sharp scissors. The 1 degree is pretty thick down here. It's almost a 16th. It's almost a 16th of an inch. It might be. Oh, another thing. You got, if you don't, you just gotta have uh, good old school slide caliber, so you can use that for like a depth measurement. But yeah, it's like Yeah, it's a little. It's over. It's not 3/32, but it's over. A 1 degree is on a bass length. This is a long neck pocket of bass, but yeah, it's over a 16th of an inch down there to what we've got down here. Let me get the actual dial calipers. Also, something I recommend any guitar any guitar interest that's trying to get stuff accurate, thousandths of an inch. You zero the dial out at when it's closed. Yeah, man, it's a yeah. It never makes it quite to 100 thousandths. So yeah, it's 81 thousandths at the big end versus yeah 11 thousandths at the little end. Enough for the this is becoming thin veneer thickness at this point. It's a little wavy just from not being in a guitar, just moisture when it does. A neck bolted on won't have any trouble flattening that out. But yeah, it's 11 thousandths, so that at least there's enough material there that it doesn't fall down to nothing. The farther you go in, of course, it gets fatter. These shims are great though. Do not hesitate to buy a few of these. I say I refer to Stuart McDonald as Screw Mac because they're in the tool sales. They're in the tool sales company. Man, there's so many techniques they've made up based on selling whole categories of tools. There's so much stuff you don't need from them, but extremely thankful to have dependable quality tools available. You can and because they exist, you also can find some pretty good reverse engineered Chinese tools. You just gotta don't expect don't expect miracles. Hey, just gnarly. That's right. That's right. Just gnarly. Excellent. Appreciate the follow. Like these are some Chinese. These are some Chinese nut files. I have not, but these were $30 for the set on Amazon. And they're I haven't tested them metal against metal, but I'm sure they'll I'm sure they'll fail pretty quickly. But for $30, come on, man! If you're using that on plastic nuts or and like Graphtec and stuff, these would never wear out. $30, and they go from what is it? I always I always dremel dremel the see if I can get a reflection of it. I always dremel the thickness that it's supposed to be on the yeah it's there it is. Yeah, that one's supposed to be a 17 thousandths. And you that way while you're working, you can literally look at it and you've got the size that you want. Because I'm not going to be used to the colors of these, but they go from a 10 thousandths up to 50, 36. 10 thousandths has a 26 thousandths on the other side. 13 thousandths has a 36 on the other side. And 17 has a 46. So these don't get up into the 50. But man, let me tell you, these I measured these with the dial calipers, like right on the edge, and it is not accurate to the number. There's more here than what it says, which is good. You always want your slot to be a tiny bit more open, and especially on the back side, whenever you're back filing uh, nuts, you want to file the back side of the nut with a tiny bit downward with a larger file. You need to back file so that's not jacking with your tuning. That way, as the slot wears, it always stays weared towards the front, so that you have as little scale length tuning problems as you can get. Plus, it doesn't get any sitar effect on a bad on a bad edge. It just sits right at the front edge of the nut, and you don't have the back choking it, especially if you're using a trim. Just tuning in general just needs to. You can use some nut lube, and I just use uh, honestly just Vaseline. You can use pencil lead. You can use the over the counter stuff or special order stuff. Doesn't work any better. Uh, Man, I've had this old taper dreamer for. This is one I got at Radio Shack. Like I've had this. I want to say 35 years. I'm gonna be 54, December 4th. I'm gonna be 54. I know I had this when I was a teenager. Like very first was changing out a pickup and needed to change the diameter from a smaller pot to a regular pot. Had to find something to do it with. And I was just I'm in my mid-teens. So yeah, but at least 35. Not quite 40. Maybe 40. Almost 40 years ago. You can still buy these. They're getting harder. I'll, if any of you guys find a source to get these with the hex on the end, so you can run it in a drill to be able to use a taper dreamer faster and more accurate and straight. Sometimes I'd like to be able to stick this in a drill, even just a hand drill, just because doing this gets old. Because you can put a piece of tape as a stop, like if you're roughing tuner heads, just to be able to get. And I always do it from both sides. I like these because the taper's so small. You're not really hourglassing the shape of a tuning machine hole too badly. But you can get it to squeeze right in the middle so that it's making good contact. But it has a little bit of give. Boy, things are cool. This is a knockoff. This isn't the Stu Mac one, but that's it's got the rubber ring, but that's where you stick your cleaner in that hole and hold it down with that and clean pots from the top down. Man, with hollow bodies, whew, it's hard to get into a hollow body to clean those pots, and sometimes they're open to the air inside. So yeah, dust and humidity and all that stuff finds its way to those little bitty vulnerable contacts in there. It likes the swipes with the three little contacts on it. Man, it finds its way and it sticks to that carbon inside the flatwork of a pot, and it just sounds terrible. That's where all that crunching and crackling comes from. That actually forces the cleaner down between the shaft and the bushing, the thread bushing of a pot, and it floods the inside from through the that little bitty gap between the shaft and the bushing. And it gets it in there. You have to kind of get a lot of it in there. I think we probably waste a lot of cleaner. It's not that expensive versus the crunch in a pot. Well, it's a lot easier than having to build a ship in a bottle, getting that wiring harness out of these semi hollows. Man, some of them I don't even know how they got them together. They don't want to come apart at all. Like some of these overseas ones, I don't know if they have uh, little baby robot hands or little, you know, I don't even know how they get them in there. I'm sure they just have a wire on them that where they pull it through the already pre-wired wire harness and put wires through, grab it on, just scrape it into place and put a nut on it, and there you go. Never shielded. Oh, noisy. We're down to three. I sure appreciate you guys that hung in here with me. We're over 3 hours, so I think I think I made you guys endure enough. uh, are you still there, gnarly? I sure appreciate you coming in. How'd you hear about me? Probably Probably one of those stories that are true. All the stories are true. Uh, Yeah, man, it's been fun. I didn't. B-Bum was streaming and his hands were getting sore. He hung on there for a little while and he rated me, which got me an initial crowd for this stream, which is good. The analytics like that. I'll be able to be a real boy soon, affiliate, and I will definitely my chat rules will have a I apologize for the ads, and I'll put that right into the chat rules when somebody comes in. It's like I'll apologize, but uh, don't and all the old school guys, all you people that are supporting me from the beginning, I'm gonna be giving out gift subs as stuff comes in and I can get my numbers up from just average traffic coming in that wants to look into the stuff and learn from it. They'll see enough ads, they'll be either subscribe or not. I'm sure it's gonna, you know, probably lose some people, but if people have a short attention span, it just is what it is in this life. You either value something or you don't. And I'm very thankful for you guys. So whatever I start getting in income off of ad revenue, I hate even using terms like that for this. This is our art, but just a way to promote it and keep bills paid. Whatever I get from that revenue, I'm going to gift back to my regulars. I'll probably I don't know whether I'm going to do the VIPs in the chat. You got a few different chat bot things you can use. Uh, but I sure appreciate you guys. I'm gonna turn you loose. Oh, I'm up to 5. Thanks for tuning in. But yeah, I was probably gonna get out of here. I've been going like a magpie for 3 hours. But this is what the stream looks like. I'll run through for anybody new that's popped in. This is like my main screen, and that was the that was the this camera looking down at the work. You can see it move around when I'm working the mouse over here. It's on a different table. And then that's the Makosi cam. It's funny looking the difference in the delays of it. It's kind of like staggered. And that's the 720 back. That's the 720. Like kind of a. I think I have it labeled as the poo cam because it's not very good. But it's just there to. If I go back and use the Dremel on something, it's just something to not leave people out in the cold whenever they're watching. And you've got yeah, the Makosi cam just shows what's going on here, and uh, it's an HDMI with an actual physical zoom on it. I can get really close in so you can see the way I'm using this is showing shadows of the strings, so you can, but it'll show the actual detail of that. And got this on here so we can watch videos, and you see how slow the stagger is from actual OBS to Twitch. That's how long the delay is. You see it slowly getting smaller. One last little one in there. That's so cool to watch. And my my transparent be right back, which has this cam. Hey Dell. Yeah, yeah, giving the tour still, going on like a magpie. And then I've got a opaque. Be right back. But we're still here, so yeah, we're still here, fooling around. This has been pretty fun. I've been needing. You know, man, I'm not a real bipolar or anything, but sometimes the depression gets the better of me, and I'm finding the motivation to keep going. I've got people's guitars that are people are getting mad at me, you and super thankful for people sticking in there, but sometimes you just you don't feel like you're not going to mess something up because you're just not into it. This is you guys. This is engagement. Keeps me going. Keeps me doing stuff. Able to share. Feel like I'm part of the world and not just in a cave, in a man cave guitar cavern dungeon, more like it at times. You just feel like you're stuck in a void. Anyway, enjoy this interaction. Sure do appreciate you guys, and I'll try to get get some kind of a schedule going. It's really good to have the outlet related to your art. Yeah, man, it's you just gotta sometimes have something that a tangible result in this digital realm we kind of exist in. Oh boy, they've got our number, don't they? Yeah, digital IDs come and they're wanting to take money away pretty soon, so they can. Boy, they'll really have us by the short hairs. But it's their machine. They built it. We just get to feed off of its feed tubes. That's I know that's kind of grim, but it's all good. We still have each other. We still have our art. We still have our skills, and we just rely on each other. Sure appreciate you guys. I'm gonna quit being a magpie and get out of here. So you guys take care. I should try to practice the raid thing again. I did it once. I don't know who's on. I guess I could get on my phone. I'm not very good at this stuff. find out who's Find out who's on. Um Galan, my tech help has said he made offline image made and sent via email, made the font a little smaller. That's awesome. That was at 4:49. What are we at here? Yeah, it's already nearly 5:20 here Central Time. Uh, cool. I I don't have my act together enough to remember um, to go to the Discord and let people know that I'm gonna be streaming. Oh yeah, thank you. That is a good reminder of the raid code. Find out. I'll Do I have a? No, I don't have a Twitch window open at the moment. One of my guys that I subscribe to, like Uber Guitar Dude, he's streaming right now. I don't think any of our group is streaming right now. There's always there's always somebody cool. It's easier if you do the regular Twitch channel tab. It's probably faster. Yeah, it is probably faster. Yeah, we don't have none of our group that I know of is on. It's okay. I'll get at this. I'll get regular enough that I'll be on. I'll be on regular enough that my stream will kind of cross over and overlap some of the guitar builder community, and definitely there's definitely some uh, like if Abner was playing, I would definitely share to him. If B-Bone was, I'm always gonna share to Mark because he's really been a huge support. Same with Greg. Guys are awesome. And now Dell and yeah, man. We've got Rage, which is always a riot, and we have one that's called Riot. So, oh my goodness, I've magpied on like almost another half an hour. I sure appreciate you guys. Probably gonna get out of here. Thanks, man. Appreciate it, Dell. And whoever the rest of you guys, there's at least a couple there that I don't know, not sure who all it is, but I sure do appreciate you. Yeah, man. Till next time.